Welcome back here to Caulfield for the running of the Autumn Classic for the three-year-olds out to 1,800 metres. Are the Guineas contenders here, or more likely some Derby contenders? A good race, a competitive race with so many different form lines coming up.
6 now from there, a little bit of interest in Danny the Fox into 480. He's going to run second favourite.
And it's good dispatch. Spectre about fourth or fifth out. And one of the first to show was King Shilling, showing initiative to try and find the lead early. Upbeat is kicking forward, getting into second placing, and now settle down third. And Danny the Fox not too far away. Settles fourth over on the rail from Hoylonny. So the course now, King Shilling about a half in front. Beat is running second. Danny the Fox down third on the inside, and then came Spectre 2 lengths further back over on the outside, and then Hoylonny still deep for the entire trip. They're being followed as they came up the side by Patience. As they're bunching up, Ethiopia starting to make some ground. Farron ridden along, and then came Zamora and Flashy Fella as last. Up towards the turn, King Shilling narrowly from Upbeat. Hoylonny still starting to make ground, and Ethiopia right around them. Spectre's coming just inside of him, and Danny the Fox. Oh, he stumbled there, Danny the Fox. He nearly went down into the straight, and Upbeat shot to the lead down on the inside. Shin went for home, and he opened up 2 to 3. Spectre's running on. Flashy Fella down the outside. Ethiopia's boxing away. Upbeat with 150 to go by 2 lengths. Spectre trying hard with Flashy Fella, Ethiopia and Hoylonny. Upbeat clinging on right against the fence though, and Upbeat won the race. Flashy Fella at big odds gets second out wide, and Ethiopia or Hoylonny for third, and Spectre just didn't quite finish off. Now was behind these, and then
the blinkers going.
We have a look at our
Well, here, strange race. Upbeat, clever ride by Shin with the blinkers going.
We have a look at our English interims. We'll get to Sammy. Great positive.
Sydney and got beat. Upbeat would beat a horse. He got beat at Ballarat, and the horse maiden that got beat at Sale would run 1, 2, 3 in that. They'd put you away, but that's the nature of the punt.
Absolutely, it was a very, very difficult race to beat. Flashy Fella was good late. And Ethiopia, he might be a Derby horse. I don't know for late or AJC Derby, but he's certainly a stayer in the making. He has no idea what he's doing, that horse.
Winning jock, classic, a very good lineup. Group 1 performer in the shape of the Kiwi here, Anna Bandana, taking on the very exciting Soft Sand, and then you've got Turnell. So, very
for her this morning. She is the Sporting Bet Market Mover, the favourite here, and just our second one for the day, but she is the Sporting Bet Market Mover, number 5. Soft Sand, our favourite.
And the starter caught them in a pretty good line. Anna Bandana bouncing away well down towards the inside. And as they settle into stride, there's a few of them just having a look around who's going to lead. Cute Emily comes over now. And Cute Emily takes up the running with the blinkers, led by a length. Up in second placing, Secretly A's and a lot handed today. Nocturnal is improving, and there's Soft Sand around the outside, gets up into second as they settle down. So Cute Emily from Soft Sand, Secretly A's on, and Anna Bandana on the rails just behind the leader. And they're 2 to 3 lengths in front of Belle of the Court, followed then by Lucky Sparkle over on the outside, the grey. Shopaholic midfield along the rail, followed by Nocturnal, who's out 3 deep as they came up the side. Investors well back in the field as they sweep up towards the 800 metres, and Perfect Bliss is at the end, or Bliss Street 2 lengths away at the end of the field, and up towards the home turn, twilighting about second or third last. They're swinging for home now, 400 metres to go, and Cute Emily had the lead. Soft Sand is cantering along about 3/4 away. 2 lengths, Anna Bandana, then Secret Liaison, and down the outside is Belle of the Court in the straight though. Cute Emily about a length in front. Soft Sand is now shaken up, and she races after this leader, 200 to go. Shopaholics moved into the race, gets over the heels of Soft Sand. Soft Sand 100 out. Shopaholic starts to peg her back. Shopaholic got the Soft Sand, went straight by, and won it brilliantly. Shopaholic from Soft Sand. Cute Emily might hold the third. Getting home, twilighting again. Anna Bandana boxed on in the middle, and then Bliss Street, who towards the tail of the field.
What a good filly she is, and she makes it 3 in a row, unbeaten this campaign for Danny O'Brien, coming back to win the Vanley, and Butters up this week to win the Angus Armanasco. The CUNY awaits for her. No excuses around here, but she peels off the back of Soft Sand. Ollie was positive early. Drop a
She still started at $8. Well, the tote punters have been smarter. 6, 560 and 570.
Third, getting home, twilighting again.
I think seeing's believing here, isn't it? I mean, Soft win in the end, beating Soft Sand, and would beat a Mosheen with Soft Sand.
Break on Anna Bandana from their last meeting yesterday, but Shopaholic just lifted again and went up that extra cog. I love the way she just travels into the races. She gets there so easily. doesn't spend much energy, and she's got that little turn of foot to put the race to bed. Behind those two, I thought Cute Emily was better with the blinkers back on. Look, I thought
nailed to the rail in the concluding stages.
Well, she showed Beating Machine was no fluke last week. She's unbeaten this preparation. She's getting the job done. Bossy back in the big time now. It was only a matter of time. Soft sand, got a huge wrap on her, and I can understand why. The question is now, is she, just because she's by Dan Silly doesn't mean she's a stayer. I think she might be just a run-on sprinter. She could just, obviously she had to be ridden a little upside down yesterday because of the barrier and the tempo of the race, but with the turn of explosive speed she's got, you'd expect her to put paid for it to them. Maybe she is a 1,200-metre horse. Maybe she's a run-on 1,400-metre horse. I'm not so sure. Couple other good runs in the race.
So the first of our Group 1 races this afternoon, the Kelly Pacific Futurity Stakes, and temperature-wise, we've got the 38.6, but none of these horses have really been affected by the temperature, which is great, and it just shows all the bars that comes up your favourite here. Sporting Bet reporting 40,000 just went on there at $2.60 for King Move Faster.
Nice long shot money if you want to. He won't go for the front. But
No, but you'd like to see within 2 or 3 lengths on the corner and see if you can use that acceleration.
I wonder.
They're off. Pika jumping freely on the inside. Playing God bounced out well, and so did King Mufasa, and Adamantium's on the improve towards the leaders. But King Mufasa has crossed over inside the 1,200 metres and had the lead. He's 3/4 clear. Adamantium moved to second, and Pika is right up there third on the inside. Mufasa really dictating the terms of the futurity. Led by 3/4 of a length, Adamantium. Pika is going to have to try and sprint home hard along the rails. They're followed by Playing God, Scenic Shot, Bigelow, Niwot and Wall Street as last. But King Mufasa, Nashville has given him every chance here today. Leads by 3/4 Adamantium. Playing God the first appeal. Pika waits, and then Bigelow, Wall Street. King Mufasa gun now. Adamantium and Playing God's appeared on the run quickly. Pika's going for the inside run. King Mufasa went to the 200, almost a length. Playing God looks to have wilted on his run. Adamantium's boxing on. Pika squeezing through, but the King keeps on going. King Mufasa by a length. He's fighting plenty, King Mufasa. King Mufasa won it by a length. Pika. 2 lengths Adamantium. Playing God just weakened late to 4th. Then came Niwot, followed in by Bigelow, Wall Street, and last home Scenic Shot.
Well, he's the king today, Mufasa. King Mufasa, or Mufasa is known in New Zealand, and it panned out just as the map readers expected. King Mufasa dominating up front. He's good. The Cox play.
That's Richard's 2, 10, 11, 5 for the first 4. Seen those numbers before. And
What? Pull it in.
Oh, what a little warrior has been. That's 9. Yep, 9 Group 1s. It's amazing to think that King Mufasa bought for $50,000 has won $2.5 million now, and 9 Group 1s. His last 2 have been in Australia, of course, the Toorak and that race yesterday. Pretty much a print now.
Yeah, there is a little bit now, but look, King Mufasa, the key for this horse was when Dan's Island came out of the race. That was the pressure. He was going to test King Mufasa and really make him work. And you thought under those circumstances he might be vulnerable. But when he just got to control the race like that, Nashville, well, we know how good he is on the front. It was just a procession. Adamantium was good. Pika was fantastic. And Niwot back in the field for a stayer in a slowly run race. His last 600 was a
2 Group 1 wins for him. It's been a happy hunting ground. Nashra Willett, riding him for the first time, described the horse as an old cracker.
Is he what? Well, you don't win nine Group 1s without having, been an outstanding racehorse. Stephen's done a tremendous job with the way he's placed him all the way through his career. In saying that, that was a gift. Obviously, it's hard to take him on because he's got that dazzling gate speed, but he just slowed up, ran his sectional, which he can run. Craig Williams rode Pinker to win, but she was just out-sprinted. The 3-year-old did a good job, Adamantium. I thought Niwot back in the field here. He was tremendous here, considering they've come home the fastest 600 of the day, and his last run was in the Melbourne Cup in the yellow hat there and the black, just coming along the fence, attacking the line late. That's a fantastic return from Niwot.
It sure was. He's got within 5 lengths of the winner. I can't help but thinking if they'd have brought Rain Affair down from Sydney for that race, that he probably would have won it. And it was a $500,000 race. And look, there might be many reasons why that.
Sprinter, he steps up today to try and tackle his first Group 1 in this afternoon Sporting Bet Oakley Plate. But he's got a big fish to fry here in Sepoy, and they totally dominate what's going on here in the betting aspect of it, and probably what we're going to talk about as well. Runners are slowly coming to the yard behind us. Here's what the market says at this stage. On the totes, Bell Sprinter's 290, Sepoy is 350. It's pretty similar to what is happening. Good luck to you, because you can get odds about all of them. But from from the stable here. It's his farewell to Australian racing. Not his farewell to them because they'll train him in Dubai. That he is banged up, ready to go here this afternoon. And Mason. Off camera, Jay said something.
My move on Bell Sprinter was decisive, 440 into as low as $3.10 at one stage. Today he's come back out to 340, and Seapoy in the last 2 minutes has been 350 into 330, some taking through. So on balance, there's been as much for each of them. So we're having a fairly good run with limited runners today. There'll be no sporting bet market mover here. There's no better bet than a sporting bet. But this has turned into one of these good old-fashioned, genuine stoushes between two horses.
Seapoy probably about a half a length slow. Wirram went back in the field in the early part. Bill Sprinters right out the back, settling towards the end. Here's Seapoy being driven hard to find the lead with Winter King, and they go together, leading from African Pulse. Satin Shoes is right up there, fourth the inside. One further back is First Command for Seal Tigra. Master of Designer, then came Kurtana. A length and a half, Grand Nirvana. Bill Sprinter now about the middle of the field on the inside. With him is Eagle Falls, 2 lengths Johanna Pine, Diplomatic Force, and they're followed then by Sterling Grove, Elite Falls, Yosei and Wirram. Towards the turn of the Oakley Plate, Seapoy outside, Winter King share the lead from African Pulse. First Command, fourth on the rail from Facile Tigra. Satin Shoes is in between horses as they cornered, and then came Katana, Johanna Pine, and down the outside Elite Falls. Seapoy led narrowly at the 200 from Winter King. On the outside is Facile Tigra starting to come home, and then Katana and Elite Falls. Seapoy the leader, 100 to go. First Command, Facile Tigra close, and Elite Falls. Elite Falls swaps them. And Wirram came late, Elite Falls, and Wirram hit it together from Facile Tigra, and First Command close up on the inside. Seapoy wilted late to just miss out, followed closely then by Master of Design. A Bell Sprinter, never a winning chance, followed in then by behind those horses, Satin Shoes, and they were followed by Sterling Grove, and then back behind those to finish in the race, Eagle Falls, Never a Chance Today, African Pulse weakens out with Katana, Diplomatic Force, and well back is Johanna Pine and Master of Design.
It's Wirram's Oakley Plate, number 4, go on the frame here. It's 4, 16 and 7, the numbers. What a race. How did it change in the last 50 metres from Seapoy looking a chance to Elite Falls swooping, and then from Wirram from last, with an amazing turn of speed here to win an Oakley Plate. A huge result here for Rob Heathcote, for Damien Brown in 1:3.49. What a busy finish. Facile Tigra runs third. He's brilliant from where he was, but look at that from...
Well, gee, Bruce, Group 1, there it is. Finally. Yeah, back last against probably the crack field of sprinters like that. You just don't think he can win it. Coming to the home turn, I saw that orange cap pop out, and having Damien Brown on top, he just knows what the horse is capable of doing, and, pretty good horses, and he's run them down. And, gee, I didn't know, to be honest, when they hit the line, but I knew he was coming that fast. But, well, that's a buzz. Behind the great mare, so... Melissa Leach, she does a fantastic job. She's here with the horses all the time.
Winter King on the outsiders for Seal Tigra starting to come home, and then Katana and Elite Falls. Boy, the leader, 100 to go. First Command for Seal Tigra close, and Elite Falls. Elite Falls swaps them, and Wirram came late, Elite Falls, and Wirram hit it together from Facile Tigra, and First Command close up on the inside. Seapoy wilted late to just miss.
A busy Oakley Plate, first to last under 5 lengths, under 0.9 of a second. Race changed enormously. A heap of these held up. Let's talk about the winner though first. Shark Wirram, brilliant performance. First and second come from last and second last. You're talking about what we always regard as the quickest race in the country.
And where he was in that rush. So the Baiters love an Oakley Plate, 5 lengths across the field, as you said. And Wirram, to come from where he was in that run, we knew they were going to go fast. It's an Oakley Plate. But that was just an unbelievable final 400 metres. And Elite Falls as well to come up underneath him. But you look back through the field, Master of Design, no luck at all. Yosei was great. Eagle Falls, no luck.
Last at Eagle Falls.
He's run last.
Sterling Grove.
Sterling Grove. You could go through there.
Diplomatic Force, heap of them. But other than this horse, under the whip on the home turn, you could not believe a horse could win an 1100 metre sprint against a good quality field. And there's Seapoy. The 58 pull him up with the exposed in front. I know, but he's been beaten. Otherwise, the handicapper's got it right.
We know how good Seapoy is, and with the 58 kilos, it was always going to be a tough test. He looked very big to me.
Well, it wasn't in the steward report. Same with Yosei, but they both added this morning. Back gate 6 for Bell Sprinter. He just stood there. He lost the race right here.
Yeah, he did, absolutely. And as soon as he missed the start like that, you knew he was going to be up against it because he's a horse that if you bustle him and you have to wake him up early, he can pull and race
Yeah.
pairs.
Two horses here on elite fellas beating job.
I got sniped by a sniper. I was moved into the race really good. She gave me a really good kick off the bend and thought I was home, but once again, Warham stuck his head out and got me on the line.
He ran really. He's not far off winning a Group 1.
I just said to Connection straight after the race that if he had clear running, that he would have been right in the finish. May have won. He felt they could, but nowhere to go. Watching the replay, he was in the boat with a few others. It seemed to be one of those races where we all got congested and either in front and clear or out wide and clear. So, they expected a forward showing, and he definitely gave that. Just no luck in the run.
It's funny, Andrew. It probably still hasn't sunk in, to be honest. And when we hit the line, when the horses hit the line, Ross and Judy thought they'd won, and I wasn't so sure. And
there you are.
It's been close a few times, and we knew it's me being a goose.
Now you went up initially, you thought I've won, but seriously, you were just saying off air you didn't think you had won.
No, I knew he was coming hard, but look, at the end of the day, he's been unlucky a few times, and he got there. He got the job done.
What a marvellous sprint he's got at the end of his races when it's a dry track, Rob. He can just rattle off any sectional time.
Yeah, exactly, Ron. And I've openly said in the past he's got the best finish of any horse I have, and probably the best finish of any horse I'll ever have. And you're right, when things go his way, and I guess that's the benefit or the main reason we brought Damien Brown down to ride this horse. I mean, Damien knows this horse better than, as Andrew said while we were watching the replay. 400 to go, you still really don't give him a chance. And that's the beauty of Damien. He knows him. He brought him to the outside, gave him the clear room. And yes, there were a few unlucky stories in the race, but, that's happened to us in the past. And Damien got him to the outside and he got the job done.
3 starts at 1100 now for 3 wins. What is his best distance?
I think it's 1400 metres with a genuine speed. But
anyone can really complain about bad luck when the winner is sitting at the rear of the field and passes every horse. I think when you give them a start and a beat them, I think you can claim that one. Don't worry about the hard luck stories. The look, phenomenal sectionals.
Before you jump in, the last 600 was 33.08, the last 400 21.84, and the last 200 by a long way the fastest 10.96.
Yeah, that is absolutely low flying, isn't it? The horse.
We say with Haylist, I still reckon they're going to run. I can't get a feel on one way or the other from the owners or from John McNair. They're saying the weights are going to have an impact, but I reckon the more people I talk to, the more people are suggesting that Haylist will end up running. And Bell Sprinter's the other one that's direct on Tuesday.
All right, Rob, thank you. Sepoy yesterday in the Oakley Plate. We saw for the last time racing in Australia before he heads to the Middle East and the Golden Shaheen in Dubai.
I wouldn't be disappointed with him. I think it's tremendously hard for 3-year-olds to give those tough older sprinters weight and beat them. And he did it pretty hard as well. I'm not worried about him at all. I thought he ran very, very well. A couple of hard luck stories, Ron.
Yeah, there were runners. Bell Sprinter stood there, no luck, no momentum. I thought Eagle Falls had no luck. I thought Master of Design had no luck. The key to these high-pressure sprints at Caulfield, especially the Oakley Plate, is out of trouble. The winners come from last swooped. Barriers 21 and 22 run second and third. So it's the key to the race is keep out of trouble.
Coming up now for the running of the Blue Diamond. It's 39.2 degrees and about 10 degrees more in where we are in this little sauna. But let's have a look at the totes here. And Sam already is your hot favourite. I should have said that. Makes me hotter. $2.40 on the tote. Bit shorter on course and money coming for it. It's been a pretty similar path here with the betting on this race. There's a Sam already obvious top pick. Clearly. Number 11.
It's no surprise, is it? I mean, and she's pretty relaxed,
haven't they, with their horse and their 9,000 members. In the 225 now, the favourite, Sam already. It'll be some salvation for Mick Price, of course, the well-documented Rodine story back in 2000. And
got up in the air, settled. They're right. They're racing. Some already jumped okay, so did Members Joy, Mama's Choice away quickly, no looking back, and Jamando, Cambiaso began okay, and Rosamba was showing some speed as well. Bush Aviator drives through and settles down with a narrow lead in company with no looking back, and Jamando out wide. For Action is pushing up on the inside, so is Ferment and Formidable along the rails. Just off this leading bunch of horses, Members Joy, followed by Applegate and the Travelling Man. No looking back has drifted back a fair way now. And they're being followed then by Andre Ruhu and Rosambo, Cambiaso, and well back in the field along the inside is General Ripper when they caught it, and Real Stolly and Mama's Choice towards the end. On the swing at the 400 metres, Sama Ready about 4 wide has gone up in company now with Arm for Action. Then Jamando as they caught it in. Back behind them, Bush Aviator, and then came No Looking Back. Sama Ready the leader with 200 metres to go, led by a length and a half. Arm for Action. Down the outside, No Looking Back is starting to come home well. Sama Ready with a good lead though. 100 to go, 2 lengths in front of No Looking Back. The filly is clear. Sama Ready is too good and won the Blue Diamond by 2 lengths to No Looking Back. Third place into Arm for Action ahead of Jamando and Rosambo. Then Mama's Choice, the Travelling Man, Real Stolly, Bush Aviator, followed by Formidable and Members Joy. And next
Old in Victoria, fittingly wins the best 2-year-old race in Victoria and does so with some aplomb and some decisiveness here for Craig Newitt. Fitting for Croggy on a day he lost his father 2 years ago, and fitting for Mick Price. Sweet revenge on the situation with Rodine back in 2003. He's had great faith in this filly all the way through, and she comes out ridden an absolutely confident race by Froggy. He didn't want to get caught in traffic, got her out and rolling before the corner, and absolutely steams in here in 1:10.47. No Looking Back was great. So too was
This autumn, Mick, Sun was the rage and looked like being the trump card after that terrific debut win. And then Sama Ready comes out seemingly off what must have been a brilliant track gallop, and she superseded that filly. Is that sort of how it played out behind the sets?
The thing about those two fillies is soundness and constitution in one and immaturity in the other. Marla Sun was just in that little 5-minute zone where she won a preview and then pulled up with a bit of a knee that needs time. Right, she's quite open in the knees, as some of those Red Ransom fillies. But the improvement from Samaretti, basically, we nursed her into the 1100 and she went boom at the end of it. That was the part where we don't get to see that on the track. I don't want to see it on the track. I don't want to see it in gallops. We don't want that testing gallop for those fillies. So we sort of save it for race day, and she did the rest. So that's your best measure.
Excuses here, a dominant victory. Slow time overall, but that's the way the race was run. Beats No Looking Back. There's your Magic Millions form, Frank.
Into that race and had shown a lot of ability, but just talking to Mick as we were watching that race, and just that explosive turn of foot there. In that last 100 metres, she was really drawing away and just asserting her class. But I love the early part of the race in that early charge that we can go along and be placed.
Oh, well, I think Sama already surpassed anything I've seen this year, Richard. I thought that was an outstanding win. She ran through the line there, No Looking Back. It didn't have a great deal of luck, but she loomed up and Sama already just paid her in about one stride. So I think the others have got to go to another level to beat Sama already now.
Well, Piero probably might be the one in 7 days' time. I think we get to see Piero. The wraps of all
already was absolutely stunning, taking out the $1 million feature for the 2-year-olds yesterday, Ronnie.
She certainly was, Joe. She's a star filly. Can't wait to see her in Sydney. Let's hope we do see the best of her, because she'll take a power of beating in our Golden Slipper.
Will be joining us. Richard.
Sama already used the big performances a number of times now and does look the dominant 2-year-old. So no doubt it should be at the top of the market.
Sama Ready was wide throughout, but so dominant in the end, wasn't she? And her rider, Craig Newitt now.
Craig,
she looks a machine. Is there anything left in the tank for Sydney?
Yeah, I think there is. She's only had the 3 starts. She had a nice light freshen up after her first start, and she went 2 weeks.
So Sama Ready, as I say, is expected to have the one run in the Riesling, and then it's 6 weeks to the slipper as of yesterday. So it's certainly not as tight as what we've seen in the past. There's the market for the slipper. No Looking Back is heading back to Sydney. Piero is going to.
I think the quality of the race is underlined by the margins, though. The winners won by 3 lengths. It was 2 lengths, I think, from the second horse to the third, and then another length or 2 lengths to the fourth horse, and they strung out over 30 lengths. So I think that's a bit of you've got to underline that was a very strong performance from Sama Ready and a rightful Golden Slipper favourite.
I'd be interested to see what
a bit of Pims for that right now. Here is the market for the Peter Young, the former St George. Our odds-on favourite in the tote is the Caulfield Cup winner here, Southern Speed. Bookies are giving you a chance to back it if you like it. Why wouldn't you like it? It's got the fitness behind.
This time it won't be any surprise to you that it is number 13, Southern Speed, our sporting bet market mover for the PD.
1.5.
Okay.
So Rain Affair will sit down with 57.
Okay.
All right.
He'll add plenty to that race, though.
That'd be fantastic seeing him.
Yeah, exactly.
We should start building him.
I think, well, he should be getting a bigger boom up there. That's 9 in a row.
And he's jumped away fairly, probably about 3/4 slow, but he's immediately being dug forward by Ollie. Zavita had bounced out. Now Glass Harmonium, Hegemon, Elo settled down in third, and they're followed closely by Ranger fourth. Murian on the inside with Southern Speech is a little bit wide, and Managar is even deeper at the 1400 metres. Oh, he's doing some work out there. He's posted very wide. Followed King Diamond. Cannonball is also out. Cranach now. It's Glass out of that side of the course with 1,000 metres to go. And then came Managar, who's gone back, but he's still wide, and Lucas Cranach. So Glass Harmonium, 800 to go, led 2 lengths of each. Cannonball moved to third, Elo on the rails, and then Ranger fifth. 1.5 Southern Speed's been covering a bit of ground, followed by Murian, King Diamond, Managar, and then came Efficient and Precedence and Lucas Cranach last. 600 to go, Glass Harmonium by a length to Zavit, and Elo the inside. Cannonball under pressure from Ranger. Southern Speed is still making ground, although she's under a fair bit of riding, and Managar's coming with a run. Lucas Cranach trying to get to the outside. Glass Harmonium shot 2 lengths in front from Elo. Round the outside, Managar. Southern Speed looked to be battling only. Glass Harmonium tackled by Elo and Managar, and now Lucas Cranach. Managar at the 200, race to the lead. Lucas Cranach is bounding home. Lucas Cranach raced up to Managar and Elo, but it's Lucas Cranach getting the upper hand now, drawing away, and Lucas Cranach by a length and a half to either Managar or Elo for the minors, and Glass Harmonium ran fourth. Southern Speed round home fifth, and then Range of Precedence, followed further back in the field by Murian and the field.
We might have just unearthed a new weight for age staying star in this country. We saw him in the handicaps in towards the Caulfield and Melbourne Cups. Of course, fifth in the Caulfield Cup, third in the Melbourne Cup, but he comes back here first up off a short break from the Melbourne Cup. And with an exciting turn of foot. This was the sort of form he showed in Germany with those storming finishes. He's made a good field look pretty ordinary here at weight for age level. First up this campaign, Australian Cup. He faces up to American there, but who knows where this is going to finish for Lucas Cranach. What an exciting horse.
Yeah.
Shark, Rich.
Yeah, well, he declared it on the get on for all the team too, mate. Well done. Thanks, Richard. Yeah, don't even have to declare it. But the horse isn't even really primed for this. He's going to the Australian Cup and he's going up your way for the BMW. So this is a bonus. You know, we hoped he was this good, and he's shown it today. He's probably that good and a bit more.
I think it's Brody. He just had a tremendous turn of foot when I went, and you know, it was a very soft win. He just sort of pricked his ears, picked out, and had to give him another one to just tell him to keep going.
Well, it's a
horse that have had 12 starts, but I think their 7th or 8th win. You know, it's anywhere in the world that's good form, especially when it's in good company. So.
And he still won, Sharp. He still won. Went through the first 1,000 there at 61.7. So slow time dash home, but love to see the acceleration he showed there and the manner in which he did it. And obviously the future is bright towards the Australian Cup for him, obviously, and I'd imagine for the first 4 or 5 home here.
Yeah, definitely. Managar was fantastic. Elo was fantastic. I thought Ranger was very good. He was strong to the line. Second up after that run at...
you looked at the others, did you?
Yeah, I did look at the others. Well, probably about 15th time I watched it. I thought, I'm going to have a look at some of them. And Southern Speed, look, she didn't have that ping like she has had the first 2 runs back for a spell. But she found the line well enough. But I think they might struggle to beat my boy in the Australian Cup.
We're going to have a look at American shortly. Rich, what do you make of these? The team of imports here?
Oh, the winner was outstanding. He's clearly the one you'd be surprised unless something happens the next few weeks that he's not the horse to beat in the Australian Cup. He was outstanding. I thought Managar was good. Southern Speed, she didn't show that acceleration.
Your assessment of that, Shark?
Yeah, look, at $3.60, I must admit I didn't take any of the longer odds about Lucas before the race. I think a lot of other people too, but you always last person to follow your own advice. I think it's about right. American should still be favourite in my opinion. He's proven himself to be the best horse at that level.
I know he's a Melbourne Cup.
The race traditionally known as the St George. Stunning performance. A horse that had his fair share of issues in the spring, Richard, and still performed gallantly, but the autumn's looking like that's all before him.
Yes, it does. Quite exciting. Although a very exciting win there. He's given everything a start in the beating, and they were very good horses he beat. And Managar's in great form, and so has the Caulfield Cup winning mare. She's been in great form, Southern Speed. So a very promising performance. And he had feet issues in the spring. Everyone knows that.
He's obviously running on 3 legs.
He had feet issues, and they were serious feet issues. Everyone knows that, and I think they've got his feet right. And this was a pretty firm track yesterday, so it gave his feet a bit of a test out. And, he's a high-class racehorse. Something weird with his mouth there, Ron. He's opening his mouth.
I reckon there's something wrong with the bit. I reckon the bit's too severe on him. That might be worth looking at because he was fighting that bit even past the post when Nash was trying to pull him up. But Anthony will look into that. The Germans, 1 and 2. How strong's that German form? Someone told me.
Well, German won the Arc, the German filly.
Someone told me in 2005 there was only 400 thoroughbreds in Germany.
Well, there's a few good ones.
There's a few good ones now because they've run 1, 2 there. I love that race. That's good weight for age form. And if they come to Sydney for our BMW, they're going to make our carnival. And American will want to be right on his game to beat that Lucas Cranach, I'll tell you. And Illo, I reckon Illo's a mile or 2,000 metre horse at best.
He's coming along nicely, Illo.
Yeah.
One of our group races is coming up. The Southern Cross, the quality race here, with the Epsom and Flight Stakes winner Secret Admirer resuming. Been a bit of a drifter, but money for Neeson and also.
With Beijing Boy and Snow Alert, the first two to move in. No evidence needed. They're off. And Neeson broke fast on the outside and went to the lead with No Evidence Needed and Latin News. And they're the three in front early on from Snow Alert. Firebolt starting to rip up on the outside into 4th spot. And then in the centre, Triple Elegance midfield, followed by Secret Admirer. Beijing Boy is second last, and Sainthood, who missed the start, remains at the rear. Neeson led from Firebolt, coming up a little bit closer on the outside, 3/4 away. No Evidence Needed third. Latin News, the heavily back runner, running 4th. And then 2 to Triple Elegance, and next to Snow Alert, followed by Secret Admirer. Sainthood about to take off around it, and Beijing Boy at the rear. Neeson led untroubled as they approached the turn and slipped a little bit further ahead. Led a length and a half. No Evidence Needed on the inside, followed by Firebolt. Latin News behind them in 4th, followed by Triple Elegance. Secret Admirer coming down the outside. Neeson in front of the 300. No Evidence Needed, starting to go after it along the fence there too, and Latin News. Then Triple Elegance, but No Evidence Needed. Had shot away from Neeson. Latin News is whacking away down the outside, but No Evidence Needed in front with 100 to go. She's holding on the mare, and she'll go down to the post and win it from Neeson. Thirds between Secret Admirer and Latin News. Then Triple Elegance, followed by Firebolt, Snow Alert, Beijing Boy, and Sainthood was last in.
Well, another group race here for No Evidence Needed. The mare by Shamadale for John Thompson. Joe Moreira back riding, made little ranks by a short head. 1:10.06 the time, 34.29 the final 600. There are the English interims.
Here, so I think. On No Evidence Needed beating Neeson. Secret Admirer was pretty good from.
The short prize favourite for the feature race, the Group 2 Apollo Stakes. There he is on screen, Rain Affair. He has been not a happy horse here. $1.45 he is in the ring, in from $1.50, but he's been rearing, he's been kicking, he's been totally unsettled. He's settled down a little bit now. All right, let's have a look at these runners in the yard. Number 1 here is Rangi Rangdu. As I said, the favourite. Number 5 is the favourite, Rain Affair. By commands, he's won 9 of 10. He's going for 9 in a row. The first horse to do that, all on Sydney tracks in consecutive races since Peter Pan, going a long way back. He's currently still $1.45, and as I said, he does seem to have settled down.
He used to prance around and do plenty of things wrong, but he looks a little bit more settled.
Number 12, it's just a set of winkers going on at the barrier start.
So Starts Me Up is going to have a set of winkers applied at the barrier stall. Set to go, they're off. And Rain Affair broke fast on the outside. He's got his head in front in the first 100 metres from Gathering and Trusting is being ridden along. And then Starts Me Up in a forward spot. Sniper's Bullet going along the fence, followed by Sacred Choice. Shootout racing a bit closer here, settles down about midfield. And then further back behind them, Centennial Park trapped out wide early, starting to stoke up to try and get in closer. Followed by Herculean Prince and Tullamore, and then Danley, Rangi Rangdu and Hawk Island last. Rain Affair came across and led on the fence as they run to the 900 metre mark, now up to the 8, and led from Starts Me Up. Sniper's Bullet third on the inside. Trusting is out a little bit wide in 4th spot. Shootout is going through in the middle. He's travelling up strongly, followed by Sacred Choice and then Gathering. 2 lengths behind them, Centennial Park, and then came Tullamore, Herculean Prince and Danley. Rangi Rangdu a long way out of his ground, and Hawk Island last. Rain Affair held together as they make the home turn. Sniper's Bullet and Starts Me Up are under pressure. Then further back behind them, Shootout pushing out into the clear, trusting down the outside, but Rain Affair went into another gear at the 300. He raced away 3 lengths in front of Sniper's Bullet. Then Shootout followed by Centennial Park. Danley working home down the outside, running on late. He goes for the whip on Rain Affair. He's holding the lead, cup comfortably, and Rain Affair makes it 9 straight to go down to beat the stablemates. Shootout got second, Dan Lee third, followed by Herculean Prince. And then Tullamore and Centennial Park from Snipers, Bullet and Trusting. Rangy Rangdu got past a couple late. They were Hawk Island, Sacred Choice, Starts Me Up and Gathering finished at the back of the field.
9 in a row, Rain Affair takes out the Apollo Stakes. The Group 2, no concerns whatsoever over 1,400 metres. Again, he's broken their hearts. He's beaten home Trusting, Shootout rather, and also number 4, Dan Lee. We've got the photo there, but we'll bring those placings through. But what a great sight that is, being eased down to the line.
Down a bit the last bit of the race, but he's an amazing horse to watch race. He sends a chill up the spine.
In the early stages, there was a bit of work to be done. He didn't get there that easily, but when Corey said go, he just left him standing.
Sure, look, I trained him up a bit for the 1,400 today, and that probably maybe took a little bit out of the early speed out of him, but his acceleration was there at the end, and he's just going to keep winning while he races like that.
So I hope he keeps us.
He's a special horse to train, a special horse to watch race.
Where's his future? Where are we going next?
Good chance we'll see him in the Newmarket, but I've got to have a chat with Don about that. And
is that the times and margins, 2 1/4 lengths by a head, 122.34 the time, 35.59 the final 600. English
led by Herculean Prince, and then Tullamore and Centennial Park from Snipers.
Oh, it's just 10 out of 11 for him. Can't believe the only time he got beat. I think the horse has run last his last two. That's incredible there. You could argue he beat horses a bit like Black Caviar beating the Horse Stakes field. Stayers just getting ready for something else down the track, but never knock winners. He's the real deal for mine, Rich and Mark, and I look forward. I hope he comes down for the Newmarket. That's a good tough run for him going into a race like that if he does.
Yeah, well, I think Corey was a little bit mindful that he didn't want to overly kill him over the concluding stages, but he started to get a little bit anxious there late when Shootout and Danley started to come, but he still had a couple of lengths up his sleeve. I think he's essentially a 1,200-metre horse. He just goes a little bit too hard, but he was just too rock hard for these horses who probably went a little bit further behind him.
Exactly right. Yeah, Shootout and Danley were both super, and they're going to go to, I imagine, the Chipping Norton and on March the 10th, which
functions. A-list was all changed if A-list don't run, which the intention is from John McNair that the horse doesn't run. May go to the William Reid Stakes. Bell Sprinter $4.60, Fox Wedge $5.50, Lone Rock $60. Of course, very good beyond that.
Sydney's answer to Black Caviar, Rain Affair, completing 9 straight victories in the Group 2 Apollo Stakes. The first horse to win that many in a row since Peter Pan in the Harbour City.
A marvellous achievement. He's just got lost in the moment with the Black Caviar thing, understandably so, but very hard to do. He's won 10 from 11, his last 9 straight. He's a marvellous horse. I call him a street fighter. He's a real street fighter. He's all aggression. He walked in the yard yesterday. He saw something that upset him. He stood on his back legs. He reared up. He was on the toe. The pony grabbed him. Then he settled down a bit. He's all aggression in his races. You don't see horses like these type of horses that use all their energy up continue to win races, but he continues to win races, and he does it wet or dry. He's just a street fighter. He's a ripper.
He ran 122 and change yesterday, which is a pretty slick 1,400 metres, given that
turn off on a slow track.
Yeah, the track had given it, so it's pretty exciting that, and he makes the time himself, and that's why I'd love to see him in a really good Group 1, and I think he'll perform. And now I was looking at some of the
had problems with him. Herculean Prince and Tullamore, Gay's 2 horses first up yesterday. They were fantastic as far as the future.
Yesterday, will Silent Achiever come over to Oz like Jimmy Shue? Well, she's won the last 4 now, all at group level. In fact, she's won the New Zealand Derby, which was, I think, a $750,000 New Zealand race. Here it is. Here she is in the yellow colours, just going to the lead. And they really string out over the last 100 metres, and she's very, very strong at the end. Ronnie, she's a very talented filly.
I like the look of her. I'd love to see her over here. Any chance of that?
Don't know. You'll have to ask Andrew.
Roger James was very emotional after the win, wasn't he, Andrew?
Yeah, look, it was great stuff here from Roger James. He's got a team in New Zealand that he doesn't, bring straight away, but he's wiping tears away here, tears of joy. It was great to watch yesterday on Sky Racing. Rogers told me this morning that he rates Silent Achiever right up with the likes of Zonda that we've seen across in Australia in the past. Silent Achiever will go to the vinyl.
So in the country today is right here under cloudy skies, rainy skies for the Australian Guineas. And Helmet is getting right out in the betting here with these conditions facing him at $4, even though he's a heavy track winner. Here's the totes. You can get better than that, $3.80. That's the one's been very solid in betting against it. And the filly Machine is around the $6 mark and has found
Stone Machine, not a cracker for number 1 helmet.
at the 420. Big congratulations to Darwin today. Silent achiever for Roger James and James McDonald.
And special congratulations, Brent Thompson.
Before he was 21, that will never be done.
An amazing. I've never seen a jockey burst onto the scene like the bloke.
Yep. No, good on him and thoroughly deserved. And
Guineas Group 1. They're off. And Instinction got a good jump down on the inside. Helmet didn't jump well. He's back in the field about third or fourth last as they settle into stride. Adamantium began well. He's up there in the early part of the race and highly recommended us pressing on. They make a line of 3. Going on his first course to tackle them as they settle down, and then Fontalina and Proliferate. But they settle fully now, and as they head out towards the 1200, it's first course going to the lead ahead of Adamantium, led him by a length. Instinction and highly recommended third and fourth, and then Proliferate fifth, followed by Hugel. Sabridge not far away, and then Mr. Milton. Behind them is Fontalina, the outside, a length and a half. That's the one to Circles. Machine over on the rails. How did he do that? Back in front of about 4 horses, followed then by Sangster. Well back as Bombola Tomba as they neared the turn. At the 800 metres, Strike the Stars second last, and Helmet last of all. Up towards the turn in the Guineas they race, and first course had a slender lead. On the outside as they swing around the turn is Adamantium, and coming on Proliferate on the white blinkers. Hugel off the track with Fontalina. Instinction just behind them, and Sabridge trying to find a way through, and Machine is threading into the race too, trying to get off the heels of the leading horses. They stretch right across the track, and that's the one, was one of the widest, and Helmet is the deepest runner. Proliferate and highly recommended. Machine got the split, and she's pitched to the lead now, and the fillies dash to the front. Machine. Here comes Strike the Stars coming down the outside. 100 to go. Machine by 2 lengths. Strike the Stars red the second on the outside. Machine is going powerfully, and the Grand Filly Machine scored in the Guineas by 2.5. Strike the Stars. Mr. Bolton 2 lengths away third, and that's the one highly recommended. Sabridge, followed further back by Proliferate, Bombola Tomba, Fontalina, Instinction, Adamantium, Hugel, and then came Helmet. Never a chance after missing the start. First course, and back behind those horses then is the Circles, and Sangster is last. It's got to be one of the great rides in a Group 1 at Flemington.
well, it's a brilliant ride, fight ride, Greg, and it's a brilliant result for Dean Nicklick, for Phil Slide, for this filly for Robert Smurd. It was a brilliant ride. Good on you, Danny. Fantastic to watch. Calvert Fluid at the start. We'll show you what happened with him. But let's talk about this filly. She joined Shamrocker from last year to beat the boys here. And Towsome, given a great ride. Strike the Stars runs beautifully. Mr.
Absolutely. And she is an absolutely outstanding filly. She won the Oaks in a hand canter. Now she's beaten the boys in the Australian Guineas. Not many have done that. And she hasn't only beaten them, she has absolutely blitzed them. Courtesy of a brick.
We thought we had a flying. We spent our dummies when the barrier came out. Danny rode a work about 8 days ago at Sandown. He said, I haven't ridden a horse that worked like that in years. We were really getting excited and confident, but we were sort of knocked over at the barriers. But we all stand here and wrap the rides when they ride winners. But even Greg Miles said, how did he get in there? I've got to see the replay. I don't know how he got in that spot.
Why was it so special to you, Rob? You're a hard no race man.
Never run poorly. She's always run at the highest level. She's, I mean, to my mind, she's a star, and she's proved it there today.
What's next for her?
Well, for this for the time being, Bruce.
He's doing that with the article and everything else, sort of put even a bit more pressure on. But that was Katsumi on the phone. He's got a Group 1 runner over in Japan today, and he's told Yusuke not to interfere with his time. He just wanted to listen to this race. This is more important to him than a Group 1 runner over there in Japan. And then, like, I've never heard a bloke squeal like he just squealed on the phone. Like, it means a lot to all of us, And as I said to Robert, barrier 20, and I think I said to you the other day, I mean, it's not important. I mean, the important thing is we're all here. We can all enjoy it. This horse is for a lot of other people just other than me now, So, and she's a great...
Number 5 is in. Number 5, keep your eye on that.
Yeah, Raz at the jump. As soon as the gates open, he Raz at the jump, and probably just a little bit piggy, isn't he?
Thrill for many reasons, obviously.
Yeah, no, it's can't keep a good man down. All the trainers and owners have been giving me a wide berth of late. I hope that shows you that I've still got it if I've got the horse underneath. But I'm thrilled to bits because it's a real team effort with needed. And I just got into probably a bit better position just approaching the half mile, and it was just a matter of getting the split at the top of the straight, and she put them away. It was a good win.
Didn't you let go quick when you let her go?
She's a class filly. I've always thought Atlantic Atlantic Jewel's better than her in the spring, and I think she tests her now. She's seasoned. She's got that little bit more strength now, more maturity.
On them and found the gaps, and she took care of the rest.
Did you realise he'd missed the start?
I didn't at the start. Then when I sort of was trying to look to which horses I wanted to follow through the race, I noticed Helmet wasn't up there, and I thought I'd see something's happening there.
You rate that ride for yourself. How do you rate it?
I know
you're
10
10 out of 10?
Yeah, no, everything. Obviously, you're going to have the horse underneath you, but things happened, and I could have been a mug and gone back, and they go slow, and the runs don't come, or something like that. But and then you sort of.
And Helmet is the deepest runner. Proliferate and highly recommended. Machine got the split and she's burst to the lead now. And the fillies dash to the front. Machine. Here comes Strike the Stars coming down the outside. 100 again. Machine by 2 lengths. Strike the Stars red the second on the outside. Machine is going powerfully. And the Grand Filly Machine scored in the Guineas by 2.5. Strike the Stars. Mr. Milton 2 lengths away third. And that's the one highly recommended.
Took some prize money earnings past $2 million, but she's a priceless filly for Phil and others involved in it. I think the prize money is the key here. Cost $250,000. Fast net rock can do no wrong. Had winners all over the country yesterday, Group 1.
In Japan, Dohori, who's obviously Katsumi's trainer. And then we'll see where that leads to. And he is very keen to race with me here in Australia. He doesn't race with anybody else in partnership in the world. I mean, he was very keen last night to make sure that I understood that I was the only person that he is racing with, in partnership. And yeah, I suppose, I don't know, sometimes you get on well.
Sorry for the Helmet fans yesterday, Mick. Have a look at this naughty boy. He brought back the old traits a bit yesterday, didn't he? Have a look at this shot of him in the barriers here before we go to the beaten jockeys. Attendance either side here, but gates open, he's up. Of course, the attendants are holding him because they were holding him down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was in a fig of a mood yesterday. You could tell as he was going out onto the track, leaving the mounting yard, Kieran was having a hard time restraining him. Then he was sort of wanting to canter down that race, and Jock
stood up fine, and unfortunately, as soon as the button was pressed, he read in the air, and once that happened, it was game over.
How'd you make it after that?
To win it, and what a ride by Dan Nikolic to get it there.
Yeah, it certainly was, Joe. It was probably the ride of the season so far. And he must have so much confidence. You just, as outsiders looking in, just watching you ride this filly, you must have so much confidence in her.
Yeah, for sure. She's never run a bad race in her life. This filly, and every time I've ever ridden her, she's such a genuine filly. And the times that she's got beat, it's either been not fit enough or just hasn't had the right run. But she never puts in a bad run. She's very genuine, and she's just a class. Hasn't had the right run, but she never puts in a bad run. She's very genuine, and she's just a class.
Dan, do you expect to get the top points from the stewards for the Scobie Breesley points?
If I don't, Jerry Bailey should have an inquiry into his own panel.
and just one more, Dan.
Guineas yesterday. So the also rans in the Guineas yesterday, and we'll start off with Helmet.
Oh, you're calling him an also ran, are you?
Well, it was Mr. Hyde that turned up yesterday. He's, Dr. Jekyll. We haven't seen him for a while with Helmet. He's just been a bad boy this preparation. Look at him rear in the gates here just before they open. Now, we know he's got issues at the gates, but from that point on...
That's hardly a rare.
Well, he just got off his feet.
He leaned back in the gates.
At the wrong time.
He did that in the Golden Rose, I think. Well, he did it in one of them races.
Yes, he's not a great horse in the gates. We all know that.
Different trick up his sleeve every time.
Well, that wasn't the worry for me. Plenty of horses do that. But he just didn't want to be in it from that time onwards. He was looking at other horses around.
When the barriers opened, the horse went up. He certainly intends to send Helmet, leaves next Friday with Sepoy to run in Dubai. There's absolutely no change in that. They've just got to hope he's got the right manners there for the Derby over 1,900 metres.
There might be a big farewell party at the airport to make sure Helmet leaves our shores.
Look, I know he's the ultimate professional, and he won't say anything, but I'll be thinking, you think, well, there's one I don't have to worry about for a while. They can worry about him over there.
Geez, you're a bit harsh.
Of course, he's a really good horse, but he's a really hard horse to train too, and a real big problem at times. A lot of pressure.
He's got issues, like some people. Not pointing finger or anything, but I'm just saying.
Okay, so live Rosehill Gardens, the first of the feature races. The Group 2s is the Silver Slipper. And, of course, we've got a beautiful bunch of two-year-olds here for Patinack Farm going around. Piero Ritchie, the favourite, but most of them...
From the favourite Piero, open up around the 2-1 mark, $3. It's now out to $3.30.
Silver Slipper Stakes. Let's head to Mark Sheen for the call.
Two-year-olds are set. Racing. Piero missed the start. Came out last of all. Best out on the outside was Collect, who took up the running and led from Asusa. Then Assassinate going forward in the centre up to third. Brave Soul on the inside from Maydung. And then the Diem's Quest has had to ease back after being trapped wide. Piero went through underneath it. Followed further back by A Bridge Too Far. And Kyria last of all. So the first starter Collect led. Asusa's railed up to almost join it now. 6.50 out. And then Assassinate working hard out wide. Maydung in the middle. Followed over on the inside by Brave Soul. Then Piero followed by Kyria. And the Diem's Quest is back second last. And last A Bridge Too Far. Into the straight Collect on the outside of Asusa. They lead from Assassinate. Maydung pushing out into the clear. Then Piero. Brave Soul along the fence to Diem's Quest right down the outside. It's Collect and Asusa fighting it out. A length and a half on Piero, who's starting to run out after them. Asusa on the inside, grabbed by Piero. Piero in the centre of the track. He was a big drifter on course, but he's taken the lead and he'll win the Silver Slipper. Piero goes on to beat Asusa. Kyria got third. Then Collect, followed by Maydung, followed by Brave Soul and also A Bridge Too Far. Then the Diem's Quest, and last in was Assassinate.
Well, he is pretty smart. We'd heard that all along from the Gay Waterhouse stable. Number 1, Piero for National Willer. Gay Waterhouse takes out the Patnack Farm Silver Slipper Stakes for 2012. Heading on towards the Golden Slipper. He's beaten home a very good...
There's Caroline in the stable. There wasn't a friend here on track for Piero. He was slow to begin. He had to come around. They got out to $4.60 here on track. That'll be your maximum if you don't mind.
And he was sold through the weaning sale, the Magic Million weaning sale for $115,000.
Over. I know you've had a lot of two-year-old winners. We've only ever said it about one, and it was when this horse won the Breeders' Plate. You said he'll win the Golden Slipper.
Look, he's a very, very good horse. And since then, you've seen, and I'm not just being diplomatic, you've seen some pretty exciting horses come out of the yard. You know, and he'll certainly have his time cut out on Slipper Day. And he doesn't want to miss that start too much, otherwise he might have to do a Belle de Jour.
The best thing
Talking of Gay, this is what Gay said back in October last year when Piero made his debut.
You just saw the Golden Slipper winner. This is the most outstanding. I'm telling you, you should realise this horse was such a babe, literally after the Canterbury trials. And I put the blinkers on him, and I just did a few little things with him, and it just switched him on unbelievably. The improvement since his trial would be 6 lengths. Now, if he can improve that much in 10 days or 12 days, what can he do in the next 6 months? I'll turn him out now. You just look out for him in the autumn.
That was October 1. Gay, confident as ever, said she'd just seen the Golden Slipper winner. March 3 yesterday, and we get a chance to look at it again.
The Slipper. Piero goes on to beat Asusa. Kyria got third. Then Collect, followed by Maydung, followed by Brave Soul.
Remains unbeaten. What does Nash do, Golden Slipper-wise? No looking back was his other option there for Gay. Horse that went through a wheeling sale for $115,000, bred by Daly, and now picked up for the owners at $230,000. But at the 440 maxi div, I think it touched 460 at some stage.
He got out the gate, friendless on all markets. He was most impressed. Nash tried to talk it down after the rider. That just trainers, like, you know, no looking backs, looking for a new rider.
Yeah, look, everyone you talked to from the stable said this was their best two-year-old. And as you say, Richard, it came into the yard and, well, its guts were nearly dragging on the ground. It went from 280 to 440 in a twinkling and still bolted in. So there's only upside. He's a very, very good horse.
And, you know, to me, the last sort of 50 was just starting to feel a pinch a bit too. So there's still improvement to come out of him.
Well, the Blue Dime winner, Summer, already went up the favourite last week after a brilliant win and high ratings. Maintains that from the Gay team here. Piero Raceway, no looking back. I see Snitzerland next week down here in Melbourne. I think plenty to look forward to with it. Gay's also got Dry Farm, which is long anti-post players. How do you see that, Shark?
Oh, I'm happy to...
Last year declaring him first Slipper winner. Do you still agree with that sentiment?
I think he's capable. I think he'll be very competitive in the Slipper because he's just so tough and he's had a run at the course. And, you know, we have to remember it was a heavy track and lots of things can change if the track dries out, although we could shape up for a very wet autumn. It happens here in Sydney quite a lot. But, look, I think he's very competitive. I think it says more about the ones that finished third and beyond. They sort of rule themselves out rather than the two up the front there ruling themselves in, if you know what I mean.
He's a little bit too overboomed for my liking. He's got a bit of a profile, being strong to run well on a slipper. He's crossed the wet track box there. A little bit too well found for my liking, and I'm just worried that that's going to make him a little bit down now that he's had that sprint run. So I like him, but I don't like him.
On the board quickly, number one, Manawanui, 165 out 175 at a clear favourite. Hot Schnitzel's been well back throughout the week, 6 into 550. In June at a $71. Proud 31. Rekindle Alliance out to $19. Moment of change, 850 out tonight. Manawanui dominates.
Yeah, he's stunning looking, isn't he, Manawanui? By
Set to go, often racing. Galar hesitated from the inside and missed it a length. Best out was Wild and Proud. Manawanui bursting through into second spot early on. And then Dr. Doom showing a bit of early speed. Hot Schnitzel going up along the inside, followed by Ambidexter, easing back to try and find a spot. Moment of change, ridden back off the speed along the inside, followed by Rekindled Alliance. And then came in behind them next, freewheeling, followed by King Soul in Duna. And then Isopac, and surprisingly Galar two away last of all. As they travel to the side, Wild and Proud went up on the outside and is the leader, one off the fence from Manawanui on the outside of Hot Schnitzel, and then Dr. Doom in behind them next, Ambidexter and Moment of Change, followed by freewheeling on the outside of Rekindled Alliance, who's midfield on the rail, and then in Duna, King Soul, Isopac, and back last of all Galar. 600 out, Wild and Proud led. Manawanui 3 wide on the outside. Hot Schnitzel's hugged the fence, and then Dr. Doom as they make the turn, followed by Ambidexter, and Moment of Change is bottled up for a run to the inside, but gets some room now. Coming into the straight, Hot Schnitzel, Wild and Proud, and Manawanui, and Moment of Change going through along the inside. 4 of them fighting it out. Manawanui on the outside might have taken a slight lead from Moment of Change and Hot Schnitzel, and then Wild and Proud. It's a struggle here for Manawanui. A Moment of Change on the inside, Wild and Proud, Hot Schnitzel. Manawanui ducked in. He's just in front of Wild and Proud. Manawanui all Wild and Proud. It's a head-bobbing finish. Manawanui all Wild and Proud. Moment of Change third, and then we've got Hot Schnitzel who got cut out of it late, and then we've got Ambidexter followed by Rekindled Alliance. Then came freewheeling.
We'll be hearing a lot more about that. Manawanui, well, he is first across the line there. He's beaten Wild and Proud, but have a look there. Hot Schnitzel lucky to stay on his feet with Huey Ploman. Manawanui just getting to the line, just ahead of number 11, Wild and Proud.
Hot the change and the black cap goes back to the fence. Manawanui's out wide, Wild and Proud's in the middle. Manawanui goes up to Wild and Proud. Hot Schnitzel just rolls out an inch. There's still the room there. A moment of change. He just rolls in a tickle there. Nothing's really at the moment. Manawanui, Wild and Proud, they come to the line. That little bump there. I don't know if they'll be... look, Caroline, we'll leave that to the stewards, but look, they had their chance, I think, both for Manawanui.
And then we've got Hot Schnitzel who got cut out of it late. And then we've got Ambidexter followed by Rekindled Alliance.
Well, the margin was a half-head. Nash in protest mode yesterday, more so than the Gold Coast, but he got it. Manawanui and Schofield have got 9 meetings, can ride Haylist next week, and miss the Randwick Guineas and Manawanui there, or we can miss Haylist and ride Manawanui. That's the situation in Sydney. You've got a 9-day stay, but... look, I think there was some discussion about it, Rich, when you see the head on here. You've got to ask, why did Hot Schnitzel have to check out of it? Well, the reason being there was no room for it, and the reason being Manawanui came in.
Well, in the protest, look, I want to say a little thing first about the protest. I got no qualms with it being upheld. I thought it was honestly 50-50, and I understand why the stewards upheld it. But what I will say is, though, I don't think there was a hope in the world that Wild and Proud was ever going to beat Manawanui, no matter what happened. But I understand why the protest was upheld. I
don't know how this horse actually ran second past the post. His form going to this race 2 runs ago was disgraceful, but what a fighting effort from Wild and Proud. He looked like he was going to drop out, and he's fought back to be going with Manawanui over the last 50 metres, and there was nothing in it. I think they had to uphold it. There was a severe bump there, and I think the right decision was made.
So what do we make of this form then?
Come out on top.
Yeah, look, the only thing controversial about the protest is, it was the $1.70 favourite against a 30-1 chance, I'd suggest. I think it's the protest that had to be upheld. I don't think they were left too many other options, to tell you the truth, Joe. He put him off stride. The margin was narrow. You'd say it had cost him at least a neck. Look, puts him off balance there. against the rules. He's entitled to his ground.
It's very subjective as to how much it cost the second horse. I mean,
The residual fitness there, and he's who knows where.
Saturday, it's the Randwick Guineas, and Craig Williams has picked up the ride on this very promising New Zealand 3-year-old called Ocean Park. It had a barrier trial at Cambridge on Thursday. It won there by a couple of lengths. Here it is going back to late January, winning here strongly. The horse will fly in tomorrow night, Monday night into Sydney. Craig Williams will ride in the Randwick and the Rosehill Guineas. Gavin Hennessy said the horse has got the former round Silent Achiever, the filly who won the New Zealand Derby. Looking forward to that next week.
Two sides produce stakes, only 12 minutes away. The favourite is All Too Hard. Terrific lineup of 2-year-olds here. Talk about 2-year-olds. First one of the day, Schnitzelland in defence well here, Wayne.
Yeah, he looks really good, Bruce. He's nice and relaxed, and it's what you need for a 2-year-old. And my father told me when I was very, very young, don't ever judge a 2-year-old on his first start, always judge him on their second start. So it's not Dido today, but, you want him to win, aren't you?
Some of the best have won at Shane, haven't they?
Oh, yeah, there's been some hot winners of this race. And of course,
It's about 1999, the way I'm looking at it here. Prior to 2005. 2005. So barely a moment was the last Group 1 winner of.
Racing in the sires and caught them in a reasonably good line. Proto was one of the first to bounce out of the stalls. Also beginning fast in the early stages was Rosambo, but he eases back, and here's pace with Tatra coming over and No Smokin'. They're driving for the lead in the bunch field on the speed. Sham Express is pushing up along the inside. At the tap is in the leading bunch of horses as well with No Smokin'. Proto is just off them, possied up about fifth, followed by Jamando 3 wide. Rosambo's over on the inside, and Mama's Choice between horses. 2 to 3 lengths clear from Timely Truce, followed by All Too Hard, giving the speed about 7 or 8 lengths. Being followed by Bradman Rapper's Delight, and at the end of the field is Kenja Wood. Up towards the bend they race now. Tatra at the 600 metres away from the rail had the lead. Sham Express is on the fence, and Road Trippin is third. About a length away is No Smokin' out wider, and then came Mama's Choice between horses as they cornered Proto down on the rail, followed by Rosambo. Down the outside is All Too Hard, starting to run on fairly well, and Jamando coming between horses. 300 to go. Sham Express getting up on the inside to tackle Tatra. Proto's on the scene with Road Trippin, and now All Too Hard. All Too Hard on the outside starts to swap them and sprinted straight past them. Boy, he's good. It's racing away now. All Too Hard by 3 to 4 lengths to Road Trippin and Proto, and All Too Hard won it all too easily by 3.5. Proto kicks, might grab the second, I'd say, just in front of Road Trippin. Tatra stayed on okay, and then came Timely Truce, Jamando, Kenja Wood, followed then by Rosambo, Sham Express, No Smokin'. Back behind those is Bradman, and they're followed then by Mama's Choice. Then
Be Black Caviar's half brother, but I'm All Too Hard, and I'm bloody good. Watch that race from about the 600. Only one horse was travelling on the bit under double wraps, and he didn't let it go. It was just too easy for All Too Hard. That's great. Great to see a horse mark his name as himself, not who he's related to here. And that's a decisive victory, as good a win as you've seen in the modern era in the sires.
And we've seen two 2-year-old winners here today, a filly and a male, just be absolutely way too good for their opponents. That was a brilliant win. Another big 2-year-old win to Dwayne Dunn.
And he looked like he was going half pace. He's a superstar, this horse.
Unbelievable.
Actually, it helped him, if anything. So, but he's a lovely layback horse, and yeah, it was a really good win.
He was so relaxed in the run, which is
a racehorse, and you have a lot of colts, but he's just one of those special colts.
You obviously make up on the physical capabilities to win a slipper, though.
Yeah, he has, but it's slippers are funny races. I've only won one. I've been unlucky in 4 or 5 of them. So luck plays a big part in slippers. You don't draw the right gate, you don't win. There's been a lot of good horses get beat in slippers. So
472, 22, 60 for Pronto. Road Trippin 590.
Somebody look well. Must have given you a great feel though when you gave him just that little bit more.
Oh yeah, once he pins his ears like that, I thought I finally found myself a good one. So I just got to tie myself onto him now.
How good? I mean, you've ridden 4 Blue Diamond winners. You know what a good 2-year-old is. He must rate right there.
Yeah, it's probably hard to go off too soon, but obviously the pedigree, he's got he's got a fair bit to live up to, and he's done everything we've asked of him with no pressure. So it was just an awesome win today, and hopefully John.
300 to go. Sham Express getting up on the inside to tackle Tatra. Trotto's on the scene with Road Trippin', and now All Too Hard on the outside, starts to swap them and sprinted straight past them. Boy, he's good. It's racing away now. All Too Hard by 3 to 4 lengths to Road Trippin' and Pronto, and All Too Hard won it all too easily by 3.5. Pronto kicks, might grab the second, I'd say, just in front of Road.
Let's just worry about who he is, not who he's related to, but it'll all be relative. All Too Hard. I did go hard the first 1,000 here, 58.7 first 1,000, but he was motoring. He just cruised into the race and put them away. And a good field, I would say, for a size, with the sign that he is well above the average.
Yeah, totally dominant, Bruce. Totally exciting as well. He was just fantastic here on a day where overall it was pretty difficult to make ground from near the rear of the field. And if you watch where they finished, the first 4 in running here finished placings of 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. But All Too Hard was just fantastic. But just the way he cruised into that race.
And from yesterday, All Too Hard, the big firm into $9. Snitzerland into $10. This is the Sporting Bet Australia market for Gerald Ryan. Gerald's got a strong hand here as well.
And yeah, we might have unearthed an absolute superstar in the 2-year-old race too, in the Size Produce. That was All Too Hard. He put in a performance that said to me he can win the Slipper, and he can probably win the Caulfield Guineas, and he just did phenomenal things yesterday. So I was really excited about him.
He's destined for greatness.
I was enormously impressed with this horse. It's just a phenomenal effort. I want to go back to the part of the race where he's just the leading group, where he's just gathering the lead. You watch him here. He's just changed onto his Melbourne leg. He came up the straight on his Sydney leg the whole way up the straight and didn't change at all. He changed onto his Melbourne leg just as he got to that leading bunch, and then just put 4 lengths on them like that. That to me says he, in my book, he's the Slipper favourite if they want to run him in it.
Yeah, look, there's a nice filly that might have something to say about that, but I say run him in the Slipper too. I think he's a superstar. Look, he reminds me of a young Octagon. I can just feel those 3 Hawks boys just giving it to me now for saying that, because he's nowhere. You know, he's a big act to follow, Octagonal, but look, he reminds me of him.
Yeah,
maybe
more acceleration.
Race 4, Blamey Stakes coming up here from Flemington in about 12 minutes' time, where Speediness is your favourite. That winner of the Size Produce into $9 now for the Golden Slipper. Of course, All Too Hard. There's your call on the market. Wall Street's better odds than that. Speediness is about your favourite. About to reassess. I'll reassess sharply now after that complete old-fashioned balls up of understanding.
Impressive win, and I think it'll be very hard to beat them whatever they decide to tackle up in Sydney.
Well, isn't one race worth 3.5 neat?
Naiwat got a good jump on the inside. Speediness a little slow. He settles back towards the end, and Ranger's gone back there with Snow Cover as well. And Wall Street, one of the first to show in company with Green Moon, and they go together with Pied de Terre kicking around the outside, going to the lead. And Overquota came across to sit second, so Green Moon is third and Wall Street now fourth. Naiwat came up the side of the course. Snow Cover was a length and a half away last. So Pied de Terre had worked round the field, found the lead, a length Overquota, Green Moon third and Wall Street fourth. A length further back, Bigelow out wide, being followed by Naiwat, Centennial Park, Ranger deep out. Then Rathera worse in midfield, the rail, followed by Spectre in the grey colours, and then God Has Spoken Extra Zero. Speediness awkwardly placed towards the end, held up on the rail, and Snow Cover's pulled out with God Has Spoken and Scenic Shot towards the end. Pied de Terre over Quota cornering in front, Wall Street coming at them hard. Green Moon just in behind them, and then Bigelow, Ranger down the outside, and Speediness running up, but he's got nowhere to go. Pied de Terre still had it at the 300 from Wall Street, Green Moon. Then Naiwat getting into the clear, and Speediness trying to weave through. Pied de Terre with Green Moon. Green Moon at the 100 went to Pied de Terre. Green Moon got a neck in front of Pied de Terre. Drawing away Green Moon, too strong. Green Moon won at 3/4, Pied de Terre. 2 lengths to Wall Street. Speediness will get up for fourth, the inside unlucky, and then Naiwat stayed on well. Followed in by Spectre, Centennial Park and Overquota.
Newcastle Cup winner in the spring comes back thanks to a brilliant Craig Williams ride. You can do that from 2 alley. He used all of that luck from that alley to come off the back of Pied de Terre and Wall Street. 1, 2, 3 around the corner. They finish off home here. Speediness, the obvious unlucky runner, blew it.
And we won't see him again until the spring. Here's your interims for Inglis, 11.43.70. Pied de Terre 2 even. Wall Street.
The Newcastle Cup winner, because he wasn't sold by Lloyd. He's got a great opinion of this horse, so much so that he came in for one race, the Blamey, won it, goes to the paddock today and targets the Cox Plate Montreal Stallion, free advertising there for Nick, and obviously the Cups there for Nick, and obviously the Cups as well. But like, oh yeah, sure he had two Allian. That gave you a spoil run, but good performance, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It was a fierce win, this. I love this horse, Green Mooney. I do admit he got under my guard yesterday. I didn't think he'd be hitting the line that strongly. He just flattens that head out and he really attacks the line. That's what I like about him. He's got a terrific will to win. And look at the hook.
I'm not sure he is a genuine 2-miler. He mightn't even be a 2,400 metre horse, but I tell you what I do think he is. I think he's a high quality weight for age horse at the middle distances, around anywhere between 1,600 and maybe up to 2,400. He's got acceleration.
About that, I thought he had a picnic in front myself. This Green Moon, I was all over him in the spring, and I think I'm going to be all over him again this spring. Just, you got a short memory. Won't stay. He should have won a Caulfield Cup. He went 15 wide the whole way in a Newcastle Cup and won. He ran 2,400 on his ear.
Okay, well, I said up to 2,400. I'm not sure he's a 3,200
He's
metre
a
horse
very, very
because
good
he gets
stayer.
a bit.
Obviously something went wrong at the end of the spring there, and he didn't run the Melbourne Cup. But he is a serious racehorse. There's no doubt about it. It's intense.
And this was, I know he won't mind me reading this, but a text from Lloyd Williams overnight about Green Moon. He is potentially the best staying horse I've had. The spring is his time. I know.
Here's the market, Shane. Not much change here. I think Green won it for P. Holland only 4 years ago, Sammy.
Okay, 320 the favourite Shopaholic, 340 the second pick, Soft Sand. They're the two, Bruce, here the punters want.
Okay, the runners moving up here for the Group 2. This CUNY Stakes for the 3-year-old fillies.
Touted Assertive Eagle jump well. Gliding goes back with 2 Sugars early. Bliss straight away quickly isn't far away today. Assertive Eagle and Empress Rock are up there, and Emmeline not too far off them as they settle down. Soft Sand has gone back, and she's about 4th last as they sort out their places now and head towards 1,000. And it's Angel of Mercy going to the lead for ahead of Assertive Eagle, who's a neck away second. Then there's 2 lengths away to Empress Rock, and Bliss Street is running 4th. 2 lengths to Emmeline in 5th, being closely followed then by Total Attraction. A length and a half Shopaholic, who's about midfield on the inside of Miss Delabelle. 2 Nocturnelle, who's 3 white. Soft Sand on the rail, and Sweet out of the middle, followed by Twilighting, 2 Sugars Gliding, and 2 lengths to Tora. Up towards the turn, Assertive Eagle on the inside has a slender lead in company with Angel of Mercy, who's taken over the running, and Empress Rock in 3rd placing when they cornered. Followed Bliss Street in the red colours down on the inside. Then Emmeline, Miss Delabelle pulled to the outside. Shopaholic trying to weave its way through, and Soft Sand staying near the inside, trying to find a passage through them, with Nocturnelle making ground on the outside. Coming to the 300 metres, Empress Rock has raced to Assertive Eagle and Angel of Mercy. Behind them, Nocturnelle, Emmeline, and Total Attraction. Empress Rock from Assertive Eagle. Empress Rock and Assertive Eagle with about 75 to go. Empress Rock, Bart Cummings, Empress Rock, through clear, beat Assertive Eagle a length and a half. Bliss Street burst through in a photo with Total Attraction for the minors, and then came Soft Sand. Don't know how much clear galloping room she ended up having. Followed Emmeline, Nocturnelle, Sweet Ella out wide, and then by Miss Delabelle. Angel of Mercy and Gliding, and Shopaholic never came into it today. Don't know what happened to her. Back behind those horses, Twilighting.
Well, Shopaholic got cleaned up about the 800 or 1,000 metre mark here, but a perfect Arnold ride here on a horse which Bart is timing to perfection out to the 1,400 metres. Fastnet Rock, the stallion who can do no wrong, produces colts and fillies of great stature.
Some hard luck stories here, though. And there's 3 of them.
Soft Sand.
Soft Sand never got a clear crack at them. Shopaholic got flattened, and Bliss Street, who was coasting, couldn't get out either. Let's have a look. Probably in the spot that they were quite happy to be in, and then bang, she runs into the one in front of her, and that puts her off. Now, in the meantime, Ollie had done what we'd expected to do. Go back today, got in beautifully, in on the fence, gave her a beautiful soft run, and Sam, she was just coming into the race, but
Got a bit close, and Glenn Boss sort of had to jag her back, and then she.
For the minors, and then came Soft.
Well, another filly emerges for Bart. He won the race with Faint Perfume a couple of years ago. We know where she ended up. She was good. Go back to Tristel over before that.
Probably upside to her. Soft Sand looked unlucky, didn't she? She got back in the ruck there. Look at her head on there in the red there. Oliver's got nowhere to go. And well, you could nearly say that she should have won. But it was a funny race. They stacked up front. Looks an on-pace race. it was a sprint home, and when that happens, it's hard to line up the form. You can get form rehearsals next time when they go along.
Was that Bliss Street on the inside
She
of
was
Empress
unlucky
Rock?
too.
Yeah, she was crowded for room in the red colours there. You see her just getting a late split there. She gets into about fourth spot, but it's that's run as well, and she's one to follow. But you're right about
Minutes out of a Group 1 race here, the Lexus Newmarket Handicap, a big field to get through in the mounting yard. There's the totes. And Haylist is your tote favourite from Rain Affair, pretty much the same in the ring. Fox Wedge, solid third pick. Let's go to the yard and try and grab these in the yard, Shane. Haylist, we know it looks like big, strong, powerful, and magnificent. And the best thing for him, he can't see Black Caviar today.
That's right, absolutely. There was one hiccup in his 1200 metre form when he pulled up a bit scratchy. Otherwise, he's unbeaten. If you take out the 2 times he ran into the unbeatable. So I don't think he's got too much rate with 58.5. Maybe a couple right down the bottom have got away from him, but he can carry an outstanding galloper. He's Sydney's Black Caviar at the moment. He deserves his crack at this. I think, like a lot of people already, they're at 115% here. Albert the one. A Rain Affair opened up $5, and we'll get him shortly. He's an important one. We've got to get him. He's out to 550. That's only a marginal drift. Woorham's at 21. Buffering is at 21. King's Rose is at 21. All those three. Dempler Boom 17 for Facile Tiger. 100 to 1 chance Rock Classic. 150 to 1 Live and Let Die. 150 to 1 Feeling Ready. Now, this one here, Fox Wedge, opened 650. Got to as high as 750, and that was taken back into $7. We won't be having a sporting bet market mover for the Newmarket. There's your last look at the totes.
Looking forward to this year's Group 1 Lexus Newmarket. To call it is Greg Miles.
Mr. Shard out in the middle of the course there. Lone Rockers lined in. Set to go. You're racing now. Haylist jumped well, and so did Beat It and Master of Design. Rain Affair looked to get away okay down to the inside. Waratah's Secret and Beat It were showing speed. Fox Wedge had bounced out well from near the outside stall, and Grand Nirvana was showing a bit of speed as well. African Pulse is almost solo coming up the grandstand, although he's now starting to drift across and join that group up the middle of the course. Settling fully now, and it's Buffering who had the lead down on the inside in company with Rain Affair. Rain Affair now leading him. Waratah's Secret, Turak Toff Beat It in behind that bunch of horses, followed by Albert the Fat, and further back was King's Rose of that inside division up the middle of the course. And Haylist and Fox Wedge show the way with African Pulse, and just behind them Metallurgical, followed by Lone Rock plodding up the middle of the track, and they're followed then by further back as Rock Classic. Eagle Falls the widest runner with 400 metres to go now. Haylist and Fox Wedge the leaders, Buffering down on the insiders right there. Beat It starting to come home. Rain Affair was battling. It's Buffering in front with about 150 to go. Haylist and Fox Wedge are coming at him. Buffering with Haylist coming hard. Buffering narrowly. Haylist trying his heart out. He's driving at the line on the outside, and he's made it really close. Haylist and Buffering hit it together. So goes for third. Woorham's come home. Feeling ready. There too, Fox Wedge, and also Live and Let Die. King's Rose not far away down near the inside. Further back in the field was Turek Toff. Behind those horses was Albert the Fat. Leaded, followed then by Mr. Shard, Vasile Tigra, Temple of Boom, and well back in the field is African Pulse, with Eagle Falls, Metallurgical, Grand Nirvana, Waratah's Secret, Lone Rock towards the end. Also Rock Classic, and one of the last to go over was Master of Design.
And that was right.
Gets the photo.
Outstanding. He deserved it. What a fantastic horse he is. And Haylist, a thoroughly deserved victory. It actually ran the script, didn't it? Buffering, they were second and third in the lighting behind the great Black Caviar. And today they come out 1-2. And finally, Haylist has a moment in the sun. And a big one it is too. Giving weights under this handicap scale of everything. He had to dig as deep as he possibly could, giving Buffering a 4 kilos, and absolutely brilliant. And Fox Wedge runs third. So there you go. Second, third, fourth. What about the champ? She's sitting home going, I nailed all them. I should have been here.
Look, there's
Finish. I was screaming my head off. So excited.
Such a brave victory by a brave horse.
He's amazing. He's a very, very brave horse, and just what a champion. He's just great.
I mean, John wasn't that keen to run given the handicap.
So, you know, he got the chance to prove just how good he is today, and I'm glad he did.
The handicapper got a half a kilo right, didn't he?
He sure did.
What a thrill. I mean, Black Caviar's been your nemesis for so long, but today is your moment in the sun.
Absolutely. Why are we even talking about her?
Exactly. Yeah. Or we don't need to because he's here and I mean, I'm sure the handicapping
1, 8, 22 and 21 are feeling ready. Runs yet another fabulous race. He runs fourth. For the fitting round of applause here, big round of applause from the big crowd assembled to watch him come back. They know, they appreciate that this bloke has been trying his heart out against Black Caviar. He just hasn't been good enough to beat her. But he carries the top weight of 58.5 today, and he proves that he clearly is the second best sprinter we've got in this country, and probably the second best sprinter in the world.
You won't mind that. It was an exciting race, wasn't it?
It certainly was. You know, obviously with the big weight, he wanted to race a little bit too early, and I was just trying to fight him, not too much, but enough just to get him back in behind Foxwedge and sort of get a trail off that horse. Because, like I said to John earlier on, I don't really want to make him carry his weight all the way. I just want to make him sort of carry it inside the last furlong if I could. And he hit the front probably inside the last furlong, and he felt it, you know. But fortunately, he didn't have one mare to chase down today. And this fella deserves his day in the sun. He's his own history maker today.
No doubt about that. And to get past Buffering, those.
Listen, I just think the horse deserved his day in the sun, and as it's turned out, the handicap has actually probably done us a favour because now he's created history. He's done something that no horse has done for more than half a century, and you know, he's just a wonderful animal to work with. And then to top that off, he's got such a wonderful laid-back nature.
But you weren't going to be there, were you? If you had your one,
and they determined that that he was going to carry 58.5, and 58.5 itself never worried me because he carries that every time he starts. And that was basically my instructions to Glenn yesterday, was ride him a normal race because he's used to carrying this weight. And 5.5 kilos or whatever it was probably a little bit too much. And then to top that off, we had to meet Buffering 4 kilos worse off. And that proved that that was nearly a bridge too far. So.
Haylist and Foxwedge are coming at him. Bring with Haylist coming hard. Bring narrowly. This trying his hard. He's driving at the line on the outside, and he's made it really close. Haylist and Bring hit it together. Photos for third. Worham's come home. Feeling ready. Up there too.
it's got a new market, as you'll see, and as brave a winner as the race deserves. That's 15 wins for him. Only third Group 1, 22 started for Haylist, 58.5. He's got one on Black Caviar, who carried 58 the year before. You go back to Gold Stakes in 19. Shark, it's about the time and the timing of Haylist.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just an outstanding win from outstanding horse, Bruce. I think that's the best way to sum up the performance. Look, he was doing it out in the middle of the track by himself. Rain Affair and Buffering were towards the rail there, so he didn't have anything to really chase that he could really line up and run down. So he was doing it himself under his own steam. The time was good. The effort was superb with that weight. You look at the runs behind, Foxwedge tried hard, but not even that massive weight gap was enough for that horse. And Buffering again, superb. That lightning form just totally franked.
Second, third, fourth became 1, 2, 3. Rich and Mark, I mean, the last 4 times he's been.
Glenn and I were the ones getting the broken heart. But, the significance of that win yesterday, I think, was the strength of the field. I think there was something like 9 individual Group 1 winners in the race, 3 dual Group 1 winners. That's probably as good a new market as I've ever seen in my lifetime. So to do it
next for his time in the sun, Buffering, what a super horse he is too.
He's very underrated, Bruce. Robert Heathcote's done a fantastic job with him, and yeah, I was fully at him at the 400. He's just very tough, and I thought I'd got to make the most of this weight allowance he's got off Haylist, and it's probably come to about the 100. Haylist got to me comfortably, and then he sort of looked like he died on his run, and my bloke just keeps going. And I wasn't sure at the finishing line. I sort of had my head down, driving hard, and I knew it was close, but yeah, obviously found out around the back there. But all credit again to Robert and to Mel, his foreman, who's down here with both. And yeah, he'll get one of these Group 1s one day. He just keeps bumping into good horses.
His work he appreciated. I don't think he appreciated the track being as sort of, it's not overly firm, but obviously he's won sort of 80% of his races on rain-affected tracks, and I think it's just that little bit.
It's just phenomenal. It just underlined what a star he really is. And
unreal. He's just an absolute superstar. To carry that weight and do what he did was just one of the greatest performances you'll ever see.
Glenn Schofield was there for the ride,
and you would, to the helicopter view, you were definitely in front 50 metres from the line, and it was Buffering that fought back. He must have started to feel the big weight, because that's the biggest weight carried for 60 years or something, and maybe more. Biggest weight to win a Newmarket. He must have been feeling it the last 50.
Whether he was just peaked on his run, or it was the weight, or a combination of the both, Richard. I agree with what you're saying. You probably, hate to tell you this, but you read it well.
Life there, but Buffering, well, he's a tiger, isn't he? He's just got the heart of a lion. He's just a ripper. Buffering. He fought all the way. It was the Lightning Stakes form, 1, 2, 3, 4 across the line. Certainly that form was definitely frank there in the Newmarket. But it was a good old fashioned race with the 22 runners across the track. That's great straight racing. You don't see it off.
The horse had pulled up. And yesterday, off the international rating, prior to yesterday, his rating was 124. On yesterday, that performance will see it at 126 or 127. So that was career best, was the reaction from the handicappers yesterday, Joe.
Okay.
The Australian Cup, sponsored by Dubai. Dubai, of course, a big association now with the Victoria Racing Club. And what a great place it is to go, I must say, Dubai. Dubai Australian Cup. American from France via the world. Glass Harmonium from England via the world. Illo by Germany. Southern Speed from South Australia. Managar from the UK. The Fish in the Melbourne.
Money here is for the favourite American. He is the sporting bet market mover for the Australian Cup.
The best, that Boro gear, the pedal loosen up here, Rashane, that was fantastic for this race.
Pedal loosen up is wandering out amongst the internationals here today, and because he's an international himself, winning the Japan Cup. So
well, that's a lack winning the race as an import.
Oh, this has always been a super race since they made it. It was just an average.
And racing in the Cup now. American began fairly. Glass Harmonium missed the start. He's back second last. American went back last, and Playing God gifted the early lead. From Elo up there on the outside with Managar and Southern Speed, and now Oddie is kicking forward on Glass Harmonium. He's using a bit of juice to get towards the leaders. Precedence are sitting off them, and they're followed by American with Efficient back last by the 1600, and it's being followed by American outside of Efficient. So Elo the leader, he's heading towards the halfway, 1,000 metres to go. He's been wanting to do it fast all of the way. Glass Harmonium 2 lengths away, and 2 lengths to Playing God. Managar a further length and a half. Southern Speed, who's had a lovely run, and 2.5 lengths to Precedence. American and Efficient last on the inside. 700 left to go in search of the turn in the Australian Cup, and Elo by 2 lengths to Glass Harmonium. Managar Playing God under pressure the inside, and then Southern Speed as they swing around the turn. Back behind them, Precedence. American peeling wide and Efficient. They're into the straight now, and Elo with a narrow lead. Southern Speed is the first to throw out the challenge. Glass Harmonium boxing on. Managar coming through. Right down the outside was American. It's Southern Speed who's run to the lead at the 300. Ahead of American and a gap in the field. Down the outside, Precedence with American. With 200 to go, Managar kicking back. Southern Speed and Managar. American a length and a half away. Managar and Southern Speed. Southern Speed and Managar. American closing on them. 3-way go. They hit the line. Managar or Southern Speed in a bobbing photo finish. There's nothing in that with American third. Precedence ran fourth. Break into Efficient, followed in by Playing God, Glass Harmonium, and Elo dropped out to run last.
Well, looking at the big screen here for the bulb, it looks so deceptive here. Managar, baby, and it is Managar's Australian Cup. Managar for Luke Nolan and Peter Moody. Well, couldn't let Black Caviar go today. He went, hey, let's win. They come out with the Australian Cup. There's the margin. Now look at Williams with his head down, trying to get everything out of Southern Speed, and the 2,000 kilometres too short for American, who would have won. Has got the narrowest of margins. So well done here.
Yeah, no, it's just a tremendous thrill. I've never been competitive in one of these. I was a little bit cock-oop about chasing my third Newmarket, but this well and truly makes up for it. You know, it's a great result. You know, he's a terrific old horse, and he's just enjoyed the change of routine. And you know, full credit to the Kamani team. He came to us in great condition, and you know, we've just tinkered and that
picture for a while, and I wasn't doing anything until that number came up, because we've been once there before, and I didn't want to go there again, Bruce.
I mentioned that word Bauer, but good on you, mate. It's a big effort to go and find and source these horses, and you turn them over. I mean, they're not all success stories.
Oh no, they're not. You know, you've just got to hang in there. I mean, this it's not a game for sissies, this, and you just got to hang in and hold on. And if you do that, you'll have thrills like this at some stage.
You've worn the green and gold. Now you've got to Okay, Shane, you
And it
take it away.
sure is. Thanks, mate. Right, now let's get back to the punting side of this. It's paid $5.90 and $1.80.
A staying win for Peter Moody if he calls 2,000 metres staying, but it proves that Moody's getting these horses. He's been ticked off as a trainer of sprinters, and he's a good one at that, but he's a good trainer, good horseman, and he's got this off Luca Kamani now.
Winnegar, hasn't he improved? I think it's a stretch to say he's improved as a 6-year-old. I don't think he's improved. He's always been this good. But as you rightly pointed out, the Australian training methods gives them more speed. It creates a faster stayer. So it's a massive bonus for Manigar. And yeah, we just saw he headed by Southern Speed, but I love the ride from Luke Nolan. That important part early on where everyone was jostling for position. He held his line. He wanted that spot fourth. He knew from there he could win the race. Americano, I thought he'd win the race on the turn. He was certainly close enough, but very grinding to that line. He didn't have the turn of foot that we expected him to have, trained to 2,000 metres, but he'll be better off when he goes to Sydney for the BMW.
I'll ask Chris a question shortly about these stayers, European stayers. Look how far that Southern Speed got in front there. And comes back Manigar. Let's hear from Peter Moody. He was pretty funny.
He was, but I'm not blaming that for his defeat today. He's just having a few issues with his breathing again, so it'll be interesting to see how the scope comes up.
With the other, which this could be one of the races of the Sydney Carnival if these all get there in the form we hope they do. And Scarlet Lady, of course, winning a Group 1 in New Zealand yesterday.
Yeah, Roya Dupre and Luca Kamani yesterday under Peter Moody, he scored his biggest win.
May have found his best trainer. He's turned a non-winner into a winner, Peter. There, that's why he's the leading trainer in Australia or Victoria anyway. Marvellous training performance to switch that horse on and get him racing so genuine the way he is. It was only a bob of the head. She bounced back there, Southern Speed. She from a bit of a disappointing run last time. Head down, head up, head down, head up. That's all the difference was. I got no doubts he should have won American. Just found the wrong back. The last horse you want to follow is Precedence into a race because he'll cart you nowhere. He would have been the ideal position would have been on Southern Speed's back. He couldn't find it, and that was the difference between winning and losing. What do you mean it's harsh?
Precedence is just inside him there. He's only half a length off him.
Didn't cart him into the race when he should have been.
Well, maybe that's true. I think it's a bit harsh.
Fresh yesterday, American.
Look, he was fresh first up. He didn't over race, but he got left a little flat-footed when they accelerated.
He should have been on his bike. Like he was always going to be left flat-footed.
It's hard for a bloke who's never ridden the horse in a race before to know that. Right? So, I think...
We do have things called videos. Gone, eh? Back, he's gone, eh? The wrong horse is back. And I think he realised that.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
Scorecard. Lucas Cranach, he's gone, eh? He's gone.
Well, he's gone for the autumn. Yes, he's had a little flake off his sesamoid, I believe. And very disappointing.
Very disappointing. He might have won that race yesterday.
Thanks for that.
Any condolences?
This salt into the wound.
Welcome back to TBN's Race Day Live. Fillies in the yard for Patnack Farm. Surround Stakes 2012. Some nice fillies lining up here. There's one that's odds on. We'll get to it shortly. Number one here, Pain in the Glass. Into $1.45. Then just back out to $1.50. Hallowell 20.
4 minutes away from race number 4 here. This is the group.
Moving up to gate number 1. She's back to 150 on the Toad Streamer, still one. And they're off. Well, Halliwell Bell and Appearance both walked out of the stall. Streamer came out fast. And the favourite's got a head in front early on. Led from Kneeling on the inside and then Sea Siren followed by Halliwell Bell. 3 lengths first to last. Halliwell Bell in front led by 3/4. Streamer on the outside as second. And then Appearance followed by Kneeling and Sea Siren, and back last is Pain in the Glass. At the 500, Halliwell Bell the leader. On the outside, Streamer starts to edge up and eyeball it as they come to the turn. Sea Siren the half away, making a line of 3 now as they make the home bend. And then Pain in the Glass and Kneeling and Appearance on the inside. Streamer and Sea Siren have moved up to head Halliwell Bell. Streamer on the inside just in front of Sea Siren, who's starting to throw down the gauntlet on the outside. Streamer and Sea Siren fighting it out. Streamer's got a neck in front. She's got the upper hand. She'll be too good. Odds on favourite wins at Streamer. Beats Sea Siren, Halliwell Bell third, followed by Appearance, Kneeling, and Pain in the Glass right down on form at the moment. She came in at the tail of the field.
Well, we get the money, number 2, Streamer, heavily back market mover right from the moment the prices went up 3 days ago, but she had to work. Geez, this Sea Siren, hasn't she been impressive? Every step she's taken in grade, and
Boy, two streamer pays $1.50 and $1.10.
Streamer turned the tables on Sea Siren, but Sea Siren's obviously throwing down the gauntlet, so to speak, to Streamer.
6-length win in the Flight Stakes, so I think she's on track. The section that I do, she ran the fastest last 600 and 400 of the day, so I couldn't take anything away from a win there. She'll get better as she gets further into preparation, the way the guy trains as well.
And got a great will to win, like all the good ones. And terrific little filly, no doubt about that. She's nominated for the Doncaster and will play up first acceptance, but at this stage she's only beaten her own age and sex. Take a special filly to win the Doncaster. And, you know, we'll just see how we go.
She's got a tremendous will to win. Sea Siren was gallant again yesterday. She's obviously underrated. Halliwell Bell missed the start and had to circle the field. She may be better on a dry track, but Streamer's all upside all the way through here.
I thought it was a brilliant tactical ride from both jockeys on 1 and 2, because halfway down the side there, when there was no pace on, Halliwell Bell whipped up around them and changed the face of the race. Streamer was going to lead with ease, and it was going to be very hard to run her down the way she races. But as soon as Halliwell Bell whipped around and crossed Streamer, Jim Cassidy on Sea Siren thought, he's quick, right? He thought, here's my chance. I'll rush up on the outside and put Streamer in the pocket, right? And Hugh Bowman saw him coming and just whipped out and put himself outside the leader, and that pushed Streamer, Sea Siren 3 deep. And Jim was that far away from pulling Huey's pants down, and Hugh was that far away from having them pulled down, but he was quick enough to get out of it.
Very quick.
Yeah.
She's out to $16 now. Shootout, $3.80. Just out to $4.20 on course out for Shootout. Trusting, $8. You can now make that $9.50. Dan Lee, $7, easing out to $7.50. Fee for him. Into $15 now for Herculean Prince. It's been a little bit of a go at odds. Number 8, Pinker Pinker, $2.50. Just out to $2.70, and that's been nibbled back into $2.60. She's the firm favourite. The Cox Plate winner, the horse to beat, and Sacred Choice. $10. As the track improves, her price goes out. Rich is a $14 chance. Let's start with the Mounting Yard preview.
Was a cracker. He'll just get back. He's a defending champion of the Chipping Norton. I reckon the mile round Warwick, $2,000 on Group 1 Chipping Norton. Trusting's been $10 in the 7. Good money for Trusting late, but the market mover's the favourite. Number 8, Pinker. Martel of Tactical.
To each way odds now, $5. Shorter on the tote at 4.10 as runners are moving in. And they're off. And Herculean Prince jumped well, so did Gathering. And they're matching strides in the early part. Trusting jumped out well, followed by Shootout. And then came Rangy Rangdu, Sacred Choice, and further back Danley and Pika went right behind the field to the tail. So she's and Pika is still at the back of the field. Halfway home, 800 to run. And Herculean Prince is the leader. 3/4 in front here at Gathering. Trusting Niggard along behind them in third. Shootout travels up okay on the outside. Then Rangy Rangdu. Now Pika starts to edge up 3 wide, but still about 4 or 5 off the lead. And then Sacred Choice and Danley back last. Leaders are starting to sprint. Herculean Prince led from on the outside. Gathering. Shootout now starting to stride up 3 wide. Trusting will get the inside runners. The others have left the fence. Rangy Rangdu got skittled there going for a run in the middle. And Pika will need to pick up. Shootout raced up and hit the lead. Trusting went through on the inside. But it's Shootout in front with 200 to go. He raced away. Danley comes along the fence to second, but Shootout for Chris Waller's in front. And Shootout beat Danley, so it's a Waller Quinella. Back in third spot, Trusting from Rangy Rangdu. And then came in behind them Herculean Prince, Pika. And then Gathering, and last in was Sacred Choice.
Chris Waller runs 1-2, and I tell you what, I reckon he'd be just as excited about Rangy Rangdu, who ran 4th and had no luck. But Huey Bowman and Chris Waller, they combined to win the Group 1 Chipping Norton Stakes. Shootout got out to...
Yeah, I guess I'm just the one lucky enough to take the credit for today. But yeah, thanks to the owners for giving me to train him, and it's a privilege to be training a Derby winner and getting it back to Group 1 form.
He hit the front of the race and he exploded when the question was coming.
In a quarter, 137.4, 37.74, 2.43, and 1 Rangy Rangdu. Shootout.
Well, Chris there, 1, 2, 4, and even 4th will be a pleasing result, but a great result for Shootout. It run well both in the Expressway and Apollo for Chris.
Improvement again, and yesterday was always going to be the day whether we could find out whether he gets back to his old form, and it was very satisfying. And yeah, he's obviously a very talented horse to have done what he's done so far, and to get him, but we'll discuss it with the owners and see if we change our original plan. But to get a horse ready for the Randwick in 2 weeks' time will be a lot easier than going 4 weeks into a George Ryder.
Yeah.
If you have to go 4 weeks between runs, that's when the weighted with 56.5.
The best part of it.
And Chris Ringy that must have been a pleasing result. Look, he's looked pretty big in the enclosure before his couple of runs so far. So you've obviously taken your time with him, but that was a big improvement yesterday.
Massive improvement, Mark. First up, we were just completely baffled. He went terrible. Second up was how I expected him to go first up. And then yesterday showed a glimpse of that George Ryder form where he was travelling, turning for home and pretty light. On
Doing the bookies board. Dan Lee, he's an 8-year-old. How good did he go?
He was super, and I think that's where their motion was coming from after the race. They're all three stalwarts in their own right, and I think between them they've won about 8 Group 1 races, and it's a dream to be training those types of horses. They just do things.
To get the horse back.
Big race for Chris. He won it last year with Dan Lee, and he had the 3 runners this year and should have trifected the race. This horse presented beautifully third up. Perfect training performance. Dan Lee defended his title well, running second there. Trusting's a run short still, so I still think there's upside to Trusting, and Ringy should have run third at least for sure. He got in that scrimmage when a horse come back into his lap straightening up there, gathering, and should have at least run a place. Should have been a Waller trifecta. I was keen on Pinker there. Geez, I've walked off the course feeling very deflated. She did absolutely nothing. Might be the early crow. This could be one of the weakest Cox plates we've ever gone through. Looking, we've had Helmet and Glass Ammonium, we've had Pinker. Nothing's done a thing so far out of our
Street. He ran third yesterday.
Yeah, he ran third, so. And we're talking a Cox plate, supposed to be our weight for age championship of Australia.
Well, I'm just trying to line up.
Not too far away from the Liverpool City Cup for 2012. Let's get on the board and get an idea of where the money is going. Now, number 1, Neeson, $3 out to $3.20. And they're back into $3.10. All silent, $26. Make that $31. The 3 is out. Sunpin, Anypin, open up $2.25. He's out to $2.70 on course now. Sunpin, Anypin.
He's side and just blow him away, but it's not the all silent we knew as a 5-year-old. He's an 8-year-old now, the big fella, and I think whatever he does today will improve on. But look for him doing his best
this time in, and he normally runs a much better race on wet tracks as well. So he's got things in his favour here. Fast Clip's been well supported, and of course I can, who top of the stand, and they're racing. Sunpin, Anypin jump well from the inside. Fast Clip and Neeson also hopped out nicely, and in fact they'll take over. So Neeson and Fast Clip in front of Sunpin, Anypin striding along the fence to join them. So got 3 up front with Fast Clip now taking the set. 2 or 3 to Do Re Mi second last, all silent, giving them too much start. Running up towards the home turn, and Sunpin, Anypin just in front with Neeson creeping up on the outside. Fast Clip was next, and of course I can. Only about a length and a half off the leaders, about to pull to the outside. Coming into the straight now, and Fast Clip moved up. Of course I can's the chaser down the outside, and she sprinted straight to the front. Of course I can. She took over from Fast Clip and Sunpin, Anypin, and she's opening up now. Of course I can. She loves the farm. She's racing right away and will win it well. Of course I can beat Sunpin, Anypin and rally to get second. Third home was Fast Clip from All Silent, Do Re Mi, and Neeson finished at the back of the field.
Number 10, of course I can. Kathy O'Hara on board for Ronnie Quinton. He's Sunpin, Anypin. No third dividend for Fast Clip on the English dividends. And Ronnie Quinton.
On the victory there by, of course I can, where that stacks up for the rest of this campaign. Only perhaps track conditions will tell, but she was good there yesterday, Rich. Of course I can.
Of course I can. She's got that horrible racing pattern of getting back last in these big fillies and mares races with 16 and 18 runners. She found the 6-horse field yesterday, and she was always going to rattle off that sectional and get the job done, and she did it with style.
Leader, 650 out by 3/4 Epaulet. A length and a half away, third Cavalry Rose, the outside of Faustus. Then No Risque, Red Excitement, My Shabella. A Gap Trophies, Diamond Player, Don't Cross Mary, Tony the Pony, Rise to the Top, Flaming Star and Lura. That's the order in the black opal. Around the turn at the 400 metres. It's Later Gator in front, held together. From on the outside, Epaulet. Cavalry Rose on the outside is coming on. Faustus behind them from Diamond Player, and then My Shabella. Later Gator in front of Epaulet at the 200 metres. Later Gator from Epaulet on the outside, who puts the big bounds in, takes the lead. Cavalry Rose still coming. Epaulet from Later Gator. Faustus and Cavalry Rose. Epaulet at the 50 goes to the lead. Faustus lifts but missed.
Epaulet beat Faustus, later Gator Cavalry Rose, then Diamond Player in a thrilling opal. My Chabella behind them from
on the Adelaide Cup for 2012. I think they've just done the national anthem. Just, $400,000 up for grabs here. The Group 2 over the 2 miles. There aren't too many big 2-milers left in Australia. And Drunken Sailor, $6 into $5 for that. And everything else is double figures. Some big prices here. Saddler's Story.
Good move here for Norskly. Why not? 12 into 650. Crocodile Canyon's at $20. Fieldmaster 19. Hank's solid at 4.
And Drunken Sailor's being ridden off the gate pretty hard by Damien Oliver, but they're kicking up now. And driving through is Warringah. It's going to be the early leader from All Out War, and Tanner Lots up there with Enchanting Waters. Jumosa's racing 5th early, and Realia put into a good spot by Kale on the rails. Hanks is one off, followed by Czar Best, and then Fieldmaster, Saddler's Story. Further back, Persian Star. Then Crocodile Canyon still a long way back. All Out War won't finish the race. Passed by Mr. Riggs, who's at the tail end with Beautiful Soul coming down the side. 1,000 metres to go. They're starting to bunch up now. And the leaders are coming back to them. It's Warringah being joined on the outside by Tanner Lot. Now Realia gets out, followed by Fieldmaster. Drunken Sailor's coming with his run. 800 metres to go. And Ollie cut the ribbons on Drunken Sailor. Let's go, boys and girls, he says. Realia joined by Drunken Sailor. He's hot to trot, goes up to 3rd. Going with him on the inside was Norsky coming home well. Then Beautiful Soul. And then Sean Bailey more. There's no Hanks. 400 metres to go. Drunken Sailor making it a dour staying test. Goes to the lead from Realia on the turn. In 3rd spot was Norsky. Then he's up to trot. Beautiful Soul from the back runs on. Followed further back in the field by Enchanting Waters. Drunken Sailor at the 200 metre mark. Goes to the lead clearly now by a length and a half on Realia. 3rd is Norsky. Then Enchanting Waters followed by Beautiful Soul and Hanks. Drunken Sailor's getting a bit tired. He's hanging on from Realia. Then Norsky Enchanting Waters. Realia's coming back at Drunken Sailor. Drunken Sailor, Realia. A head bomber. It might be Realia. Maybe Realia has worn him down late to beat him at Ives. It's a photo in the Adelaide Cup. Drunken Sailor, Realia, Drunken Sailor. Norsky 3rd, hangs close up with Beautiful Soul, Enchanting Waters. Then Czar Best, Warringah, Tanner Lot didn't run the trip, nor Persian Star, and he's down out of the race. But just going over the line is All Out War.
Well, we'll wait for the official result here. Drunken Sailor outside with a big weight. Realia fights back on the inside, not confirmed yet. Norsky, a solid 3rd. Ollie's ridden this absolutely perfectly and deserves victory, but he may miss out here. Head to Adelaide Cup, the big weight pull. Realia, 5.5 kilos off it, and Lloyd Kennewell, big result for.
This is the This is the feature. It's the big one. The Top Cut Alistair Clark Stakes, a Group 2 race for the 3-year-olds over the classic Cox Plate distance of 2,040 metres. And there is which is pretty rare for you to be overruled by John.
Yeah, look, I do take it a little bit note.
Well, good luck, Mike. And we're off to Bendigo tomorrow. Got a couple.
They're off. Proliferate jump fairly, toned Mr. Startle length, and Sangster was the first one to bounce out. Proliferate quickly getting into 2nd placing with Highly Recommended. Followed by Danny the Fox, Tone, Mr. Milton, Saybridge. Then I Feel Good Ethiopia. But Sangster has the lead. The Derby winner leads the Alistair Clark field out of the straight. Highly Recommended on a deep move has gone up into 2nd and Proliferate a length and a half 3rd. Danny the followed by Toned and I Feel Good. One further back is Saybridge 2nd last and 2 lengths to Ethiopia. Running to the 800 metres turn, and the leader is Sangster, just over 2 lengths in front. Now he's been running it pretty solidly. In 2nd placing, Highly Recommended. Proliferate a length and a half away. 3rd from Mr. Milton and I Feel Good. Then Toned and Danny the Fox, Ethiopia taking off from the back, and Saybridge battling at the end of the field at the moment, 2 lengths away. 5.50 to go, and Sangster trying to run them off their feet. He's going for home. 3 lengths, Highly Recommended. Running on Ethiopia around the outside. Proliferate boxing on in the centre. And then came I Feel Good, Danny the Fox and Mr. Milton, and Saybridge still at the end of the field. Sangster trying to regain his form, led by 2 lengths coming around the home turn. He's in front of Highly Recommended and Ethiopia. And Saybridge cut the corner, starting to finish. Sangster in front. Highly Recommended comes after him. Highly Recommended hits the lead from Sangster and Ethiopia. Highly Recommended is clear, and Highly Recommended won the Alistair Clark. Ethiopia 3/4 second. Sangster and Nick 3rd. Saybridge worked home along the rails into 4th. A Gap Proliferate didn't finish off, and then
Beating a Derby winner there, so we might have to look beyond the Guineas maybe.
Yeah, he's just
It's a protest there, wasn't it?
Yeah, you got to. What were the stewards thinking? How did they dismiss that? They put up a market for the protest at 400,000 to 1, and there wasn't a taker.
Fast Rock, that one.
It was Sangster who come out and half interfered with highly recommended, but it made no difference whatsoever to the race.
You'll see it up here that it was Ethiopia, though.
Difference whatsoever to the race.
You'll see it up here that it was Ethiopia, though, heading towards the Derby for...
State Eats terrific. It's still growing.
Know whether this was the strongest Group 2 I've ever seen. Ethiopia still a maiden, but showing good staying promise, I must say. Real grinding stayer, Ethiopia. Protest here, second against Phil. A much better run from Sangster, the Derby winner. He kicked away on straight in there and a much improved run from him. But all in all, I'm not so sure we can follow that form.
Just plugging away there, aren't they?
Welcome back to Royal Randwick Runners in the yard here for the Highland Race Colours Skyline Stakes for the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings heading towards the Golden Slipper. Favourite as he...
And Honorius, first one to come up and take its spot. Ready? Starter has them, often racing. Well, Raceway wasn't the best out. Collect probably the best into stride. Lord Devine driving up near the inside. Lyric came out well, and so did Ashokan. They're up near the lead on settling down. Collect will let them go and settle in behind the pace, going through in the middle. Limes followed by Diamond Costa. Raceway back about midfield, and he's got him one off the rail on the outside of Hard Marker, and then in behind them next Strength, followed by Honorius, and the back last of all is 5.5 Star. 6.50 out, and Ashokan's going a little bit keenly, raced up and joined Lord Devine in front. They lead from in third spot, Diamond Costa, then Limes in the middle, followed by Lyric. Collect was next, and then Raceway. He's about 5 or 6 off the lead and just got pushed a little bit wide there, and further back behind them, Honorius. Up the rise, and Ashokan and Lord Devine are battling it out at the moment. They're in advance of Limes and Collect coming down the outside, and Raceway's making its run with it. But Collect is out after Ashokan. Raceway's under the stick to try and wear them down. He just wanted to duck in for a stride. It's Ashokan and Collect. Raceway looks to be struggling to get them, and Ashokan fought back strongly on the inside, beat off Collect, and is too good. Ashokan won it from either Raceway or Collect in a photo. And then came Limes, Honorius, Strength, followed further back in behind them by Lyric.
Away from him, he's up on the speed. He travelled nicely. That's a good spot for him to be, and he's obviously...
Action continues. Runners are in the yard here for the 2-year-old fillies Golden Slipper lead up. This is the Riesling Stakes. And Richie, not much between two of them, Jade Marauder, Cushion Sky. Interesting seeing Dear Demi, who beat Ashokan, is drifting out on
50 out to 11.5.
Previous, so let's hope we don't get too much more rain here. And runners are coming up into the stalls. Agueda has had some suspecting as well. And they're off and racing. Well, Jade Marauder missed the start, and so did Dear Demi. They both came out near the tail. Agueda began well, so did Valerio, and Cooch and Sky now rolling up along the inside to take them on. Just in behind them, Roll the Bones and Flying Stitzel, followed by Kyria, and then Report out a little bit wide. Further back, Dear Demi, and then Bethlehem. Jade Marauder a long way back with Varanasi, and Red Hot Chili is last of all, running past the 800, and the leader is Cooch and Sky, a length and a half in front of in second. Valerio. Agueda is third, and then Roll the Bones, followed by Flying Schnitzel. Reports out wide, followed by Kyria. And then came Bethlehem and Dear Demi. Jade Marauder's got a lot of work to do from there. She's trying to thread between horses from Red Hot Chili. And Varanasi is back last of all. Cooch and Sky broke away at the top of the straight. It's 2.5 in front of Valerio, and then came Agueda. Flying Schnitzel coming down the outside, and then Kyria. And Jade Marauder starting to work home strongly. Running to the 200. Cooch and Sky has been tackled by Valerio, and then Agueda. Jade Marauder starting to thread through in the middle. It's Valerio in front. Here's Jade Marauder. She's starting to come after it down the outside. Jade Marauder, the lead and won it. Jade Marauder got up to beat Valerio. An outstanding win. Third home Kyria. And then came Agueda, followed by Flying Schnitzel. Red Hot Chilies was next, followed by Varanasi. And then at the head of the others, we had...
Long neck by a half neck. Now, the time's slightly slower than the Colts and Geldings. 1:11.27, 30...
$500,000 yearling. Another one by Fastnet, Rob.
Gets another chance. He'll go to the Magic Night as well. And on the winner, Jade Marauder. It's tightened right up in the markets from TAB Sportsbet for the Golden Slipper. That's no surprise. But who rides Jade Marauder in the Slipper? Chris Waller said this morning, I won't be rushing. I reckon he's not rushing because of that second favourite.
Well, Randwick, the feature of the day, the turn point, Randwick Guineas. The Group 1 for the 3-year-olds over the famous Randwick Mile. The runners are in the yard. Manawanui is the favourite here on course around 3:20. But Richie, the filly down the bottom already money on course.
Yeah, well, we got out to a better quote. I think Manawanui was 320 into 3. Now it's back to 320. 200 Proud 15. The next two are out. Ambidexter 41 out to $51. Sedcom $26. 13's out. Ocean Park $18. Laserhawk, good money here. 14 into $10. Moment of Change $15 into $14. Machine opened up 340 with all the money early in the week. It's got out to $4 here on track. I can tell you it's just firmed into $3.80. Favourites particularly, but there's been money for a few of the other runners, but there's no market mover on the, I can't believe it, but you only do what the boss tells you. There's no market mover here, but if you need
Shootout Medal Bender, some of the winners of this Group 1 race for the 3-year-olds over the mile. We are about a minute and a half from start time. The big Group 1. Enjoy the call, Mark.
Okay, thanks, Caroline. Manawanui, $3.20, $2.90 on the total. They're all in and they're off. And Ocean Park missed the start, so did Strike the Stars, and Wild and Proud came out fast on the outside. Laserhawk is driving through to head it, and also up there is Dr. Doom. As they sort themselves out, Manawanui not all that far away, and so too Moment of Change, followed by Ambidexter, then King Soul, followed by Sedcom. Back in the field after those, Galar, and then came Ocean Park and Strike the Stars. Machine went a long way back into the field, so tender. And the leader is Wild and Proud, led from Manawanui and Dr. Doom. Laserhawk up on the outside is running fourth, and then came in behind them next. We've got Moment of Change on the outside of Sedcom. Machine going up in the middle near midfield as they settle down. Ambidexter on the outside. Back on the rail there was Ocean Park, and then Strike the Stars. Further back behind them next on the outside, King Soul. Going up in the middle, Galar. A long way back in Duna and Darcy Be Good at the tail of the field. Running around the turn, about 500 to run. And Wild and Proud in front, Manawanui strode up on the outside. And now he puts his head in front as they turn Manawanui. Berry went for home, beat off Wild and Proud. Then down the outside, Laserhawk, followed by Sedcom, Moment of Change. And then Machine starting to work home. Manawanui in front, Sedcom starting to reel him in. And as they run to the 150, Manawanui just in front, being joined by Sedcom. Laserhawk on the outside. Machine's going to come with a late rush. Sedcom fights back. Machine dives on the outside and wins it. Machine came from nowhere and got up to beat Sedcom. Third home Laserhawk, and then Ambidexter, followed by Manawanui. Then Darcy Be Good, Strike the Stars. In behind them next Ocean Park, and then Galar in Duna. Wild and Proud, well back behind.
The filly Machine, she's done what Shamrocker did, won an Australian Guineas and then came up here and taken out another good Group 1 3-year-old race. She is something else. Machine by Fastnet Rock and taking it out for Dan Nicklick. He absolutely loves this filly. She's beaten home number 12, Sedcom. Number 15, Laserhawk, was in third placing. But the filly, Rich, dominated the Colts and Geldings.
Outstanding ride, outstanding filly, outstanding trainer performance. She's A-grade, number 17 Machine. She got a check early.
And, to come back to Sydney and win this Group 1 and a race you probably didn't get the best of luck in running. Dan's given it a great ride, but she's like a pinball in there at certain stages of the race.
Yeah, looking at it earlier, I'd have to see it again. You don't get a great shot of it, but she was getting a bit of a buffeting, and I'd probably conceded at the 200 that she was going to run well, but I thought she'd run out of time. Gee, she was great.
Yeah, she's got that great will to win at Northern Farm in Japan, and a lot of interest from the Northern Hemisphere now in this great mare, or this great filly as she is, as she comes back to Scartha. Well, Dan Nicklick, with mirrors on the back of your Machine cap, Phil will tell us a story about that shortly, but oh, gee, what a win, Dan, because you're in a bit of trouble there early.
I was, but she's just got the gears that she will relax and she'll go through and take any run. Got a little bit tight there a couple of times through the run, and she just, she's just my little class act. She's a ripper. And to Hillary,
Danny doesn't do that at all. He's down the line.
Remarkable effort by this filly, Phil, to win 3 Group 1.
About records and everything else, and I mean, apparently she's up there with the best of them now. To have the 3 Group 1s in as a 3-year-old, and it's not over yet, as Bruce just said. Well, I mean, she may be here to pinch another one just yet.
It's a remarkable CV already. She's got to run second. It's a remarkable CV already. She's got to run second in a Golden Slipper, second start in the race. Win an Oaks, come back and win an Australian Guineas and a Randwick Guineas. You look back in 10 years' time and say, she must have been okay, because at the time I don't think we'll get a sense of how good the filly is. Of course, she came out of the limelight of Atlantic Jewel to some extent, but you've got to take this at face value. This is bloody good.
For sure, look, it'll be, and I think it'll be a great.
Bloody good.
For sure, look, it'll be, and I think it'll be a great jewel. I mean, Robert's very keen to take Atlantic Jewel on there because he believes that. I mean, Atlantic Jewel may be a superstar, maybe a black caviar, but this filly of ours has definitely improved. I mean, Robert said to me just this morning, he said he's got the filly at about 90-95%. She's still got improvement to come out of it as well, so she's not at the top of her game yet.
Yeah, we spoke. 9 starts, 6 wins, 3 of those at Group 1 level against the boys also, of course, an Australian Guineas winner, becoming a Randwick Guineas winner and the first filly to do that in the 6 years of this contest. But she's in her own league here. The bookies bet foot. I thought on Manawanui. Where's he at right now?
On the point of the turn, I thought Manawanui would win. I honestly did. I know he done a little bit of work early, but I really thought he'd dash away. We spoke to Tommy Berry again. He said, I still reckon he got his turn of foot on top of the ground. I think we've got to remember, like him and Helmet, we don't know if it's come up yet. I know he's gone to Dubai, but they had, like, I was in the mounting out of Caulfield on Caulfield Guineas Day. And
she's definitely been dictated to by the barrier as to how to ride her. And Danny said after the Australian Guineas, he said he thought that might even be the better way because she relaxed a bit and she had a better turn of foot. So, but if you got the gate and the lack of speed or whatever, or the circumstances indicate it's better to go forward, then she can do that too. So she can make her own luck in that regard.
Rob, have you got any other horses?
Off a big spring to have a short break and come back and maintain that form through the autumn. And I think that demonstrates what a good constitution this filly's got. But you're seeing a whole lot of new 3-year-olds come to the fore that weren't as prominent in the spring. So it's an interesting time ahead.
The thought of a clash between your filly and Atlantic Jewel is quite tantalising, Robert.
Yeah, well, Atlantic Jewel, when we met in the 1,000 Guineas, she totally dominated that day, and I was just in awe of it. If she comes back if she's improved off a break and comes back, it'll be just terrific to see what she can do.
Well, clearly it's not going to happen.
What about the horses that finished behind her yesterday, Ronnie?
Look, there were some good runs. We've got the Rosehill Guineas coming up. We've obviously got the Derby horses there as well. But before we move on, I know Danny Nicolic's ride was, a 10 out of 10 ride again. But I don't think it was the best ride in the race. If you have a look at the replay again, have a look at the ride on the second horse, Said Com from Dwayne Dunn. You'll never, ever see a better Group 1 race ride. It was just sensational what he did on that horse. He gave that horse every opportunity. I think the point out of the race, the first and the second horses had 3 runs leading into the race where all the others had only had 2. And that, on a testing track, I think that told him to finish.
And I think look, for mine, and I've always said this about Sedcom, because I've been a rat for him all the way through. I think to be a really good horse, he's got to be beyond 1,600 metres. And yesterday, I think he showed that beyond 1,600 metres, certainly as a 3-year-old, is not going to be a problem for him.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I think Laser Hawk is
as a 3-year-old is not going to be a problem for him.
No, I'm not so sure about that. I think Laser Hawk is the Derby horse. He'll just grind away. He's got a chance in the Guineas, but I think he's the Derby horse. Ambi Dexter, he good was much better in his blinkers there. Maybe it was the wet track that helped him. And the Kiwi, Ocean Park, he just ran into a dead end in the straight there at the early part of the straight and lost a lot of momentum. On a dry track, he could jump out of the ground as well, Andrew.
Yeah, Ron, just in the Australian Derby, but he did tell me this morning, Gary, that if the horse won or went well in the Rosehill Guineas, they would be looking at paying a late entry fee for the Derby. So that'll be